It's all good.
Hell yes.
We're gonna kick off YouTube right now, okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay. That's why I love you. Hey, everybody. Dave Scott with Spaced Out Radio. We're kicking off another edition here in about 6 minutes of the Spiritual You with the lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco. And I tell you, if you've never been in the presence of this wonderful, remarkable, brilliant woman, when she is out there speaking on tour, go see her. Go meet her. Say you heard her on Spaced Out Radio. She is one of the loveliest souls you could ever meet. And I'm always excited when she is on. She is like a sister to me, and it's very rare that I throw around that comment, but I absolutely love this woman to death and think the absolute world of her. And we are so lucky and blessed to have Geraldine on this show once a month to break down the spiritual you and whatever we decide to talk about. It's always a good time. I want to say a big hello to Tammy, Donnie, Marky Mark, and the Funky Bunch. Vins, how are you? Who else do we got here? Brett, good to have you here. BGs, thanks for stopping on in. I know there will be more here rolling on in momentarily. All right. How you doing, Geraldine?
Hey, Dave. It's so good to be here, and thank you for that. Such a warm welcome and introduction. That's so sweet of you. It's so awesome. I'm excited to see you every month, too. It's
I know.
So great.
You would almost think that we have like friend crushes on each other. Friend crushes. You know?
Yeah, Dave, you're awesome. You are truly like a brother to me. I hold you very close.
Thank you.
And that's amazing.
Well, let's be honest. There aren't many people who have better hair than me in this business, and you are one of the few.
It's true. Well, there you go. Thank you. I am flattered. And thank you to all the listeners tonight. I'm so excited to connect with you guys again. Thank you all for being here, as always. Such a gift.
I know.
We have an exciting show tonight. We have some exciting stuff that we want to chat about. So I know.
And you got a surprise friend joining us later on.
I do. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
I know. I'm so pumped up and excited. How was your month so far? How was your month? My month has been crazy. Well, the last 5 days has been crazy, but we're kind of polishing off our YouTube chat. Started at around 30 some people. We're usually on a nightly basis between like 85 and 120 now live viewers per show on YouTube, and that is kind of cool, because when you add up the people coming in and out and everything like that, it's usually around 600-700 people a show, which is cool. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of new and exciting. And then I got my job back, which is kind of cool. And
all right.
Yeah. And I had a burger tonight. I know you don't like hearing that, but I had a burger tonight, and it's not sitting well with me, probably because I have you on, and that way you could rub it into me that I did the wrong thing again. And, I'm trying to be good. Hey, you Roy boy, life dweller, Nucky Lavi, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Video game master and Sergeant Soups, how are you? Geraldine Orozco, the spiritual you, the first Tuesday of every month. But I'm drinking more water, Geraldine.
There you go. That's awesome. Hey, you enjoy that burger. If you love that, you would just have to enjoy.
You know what? It's not sitting well with me. This one is not sitting well with me.
Wonder what happened there.
I don't know. Maybe it was too much aioli sauce. I'm a sucker for the aioli sauce. I'm not going to lie.
That sounds really good. Yeah.
All right. But I don't know. Hey, Greco, how you doing? Now, if you're ever in Toronto, Greco owns a Greek restaurant somewhere around the Toronto area. And apparently he has one hell of a great menu. This is the rumor. I want to go test it out. What do you say we go to Toronto sometime and surprise him?
I am so down. Let's go. I love Greek food.
Me
We're
too.
coming.
Me too. I want a nice Greek salad with some homemade hummus. That's what I want.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Julie. Spookles the cat. How are you? Good to have you on in here. All right. We're about... Excuse me. We are about 30 seconds away from kicking off this edition of the mighty SOR. And it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. A lot of fun with Geraldine Orozco.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way we do it around here. A little bit of Geraldine, a little bit of love. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. And where are we going here? Let's turn this on. And we're off and running in 3, 2, 1. There's the music. The hair is down, looking just fantastic. Although I'm wearing Skechers while Geraldine wears her patented leopard print stiletto heels. Hey, Mr. Man, Mister, how are you? And here we go. From the sunny mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us, including everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and much more. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. At the beginning of each month, we bring in one of our most popular guests, as Geraldine Orozco from Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco, California, joins us for The Spiritual You. A life-changing contact experience in 2013 resulted in Geraldine's activation of psychic abilities, and in 2017, she underwent several hypnotic regressions with vetted therapists. Regressions uncovered a lifelong history of abduction and participation in human hybridization. Her life is dedicated to the dissemination of knowledge of hybridization programs and the correction of the commonly held dogma of the human genetic timeline. Geraldine's website is geraldineorozco.com, so I hope you enjoy the show. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. The lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco. I absolutely love it every month and look forward to you being here each and every month. How you been doing?
Hey, Dave, I am fantastic and always such an honor to be here and excited to connect with you and our audience. It's just so much fun. It's been an incredible month. How the world has changed in 30 days. It's really amazing, isn't it?
Oh, man, I tell you. You know what? It's amazing how you can go down these dark and dirty roads and you feel all alone and you feel like, no matter how hard you try, you're just treading water. And then all of a sudden you hit that beautiful current and you take off and your entire life just continues to roll with it. It's amazing how sometimes that happens, isn't it?
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. It's like we're going down this river and the currents, the tide goes up and it goes faster, but it's amazing. Our life really adapts to all these changes, and even emotionally, physically, with our families, everything. It's just, I have just been in so much awe looking at how people have adapted to this chaos. It's just inspiring to me. So it's a special time. There's a lot going on in the world around us, but you guys are awesome. You guys are listeners out there that are really holding the space. For a really nice time. You guys are taking time to connect with yourself. You guys are doing the work. I'm just so proud of all of you. You guys are awesome.
I got to ask you, in regards to, how you stay positive, and you're probably the most positive and energetic person that I know. I don't know how you do it, but here you are each and every night. You are just absolutely always on. Even when I call you away from the air, and I know we don't talk often, and the couple times that we have met face to face, you're always very bubbly, sparkly. You have an energetic aura and energy about you. How do you keep that up?
Oh, that's wonderful to hear, Dave. I mean, you know me, but it's not always like that too. I mean, I try to be as authentic as possible with myself and what I need. And my ability to connect with my true emotions makes me feel very free, very open, very accepting of myself. Even when things are tough, I try to be as accepting as possible. And trust me, the last couple of weeks have been interesting for me too. We've been going through some major transitions, major detoxing, body, mind, and soul, and I think it's just necessary. We gotta get acquainted with the ebb and flow of life. The ebb and flow of life is really hard sometimes, and we think it's the end, but right when you think it's the end, it's like a new horizon will show up and you're shown the light again. And I've seen that time and time again. It's like you go through deaths and rebirths, and every time it's exciting, Dave. So I've kind of come to the point with so many crazy things that happen in my life to kind of just go with the flow and meet all the visitors that come up, whether it's, good surprises, bad surprises, just meet them like guests. There's that quote by Rumi that talks about meeting the emotions like guests, inviting them in, and then letting them go happy, just observing them, allowing them. So I kind of try to stick with that and being in the present moment.
A lot of people have troubles doing that, though. Okay, life throws you lemons. Life throws you hard rocks and hard balls and everything that kind of attacks. I mean, look at all the people, what's happening right now with having to stay home. People are getting restless. They're getting antsy. They're now believing more conspiracies than what the professionals are telling them. We can debate everything these days. I think the internet has been a very, very large looming problem in regards to that. How do you personally push all of that aside to be able to concentrate on you, where you're not worried about the paycheck or the bills, even though they are daily worries, but they aren't as taxing on you, pun intended, as they are on many people out there?
Well, it is. Sometimes, you can get worried about money and income and all of that. But, Dave, what I have really created, and this is something that takes dedication and focus and time. We need to set ourselves up in a way where we are not just in a constant state of flow, but in the present moment. And what that really means is that whatever happens in life, you are always true to yourself, always in alignment with what you're doing. If you're in resistance with what you're doing at any time, you're just going to cause more chaos for yourself. And I've learned that lesson in such a powerful ways in my life, from near-death experiences all the way from even contact experiences, abduction experiences, right, where you have these incredible things that happen in your life, and sometimes you don't even know how to quantify them, how to fit them in your everyday life, but they're there for a reason, and they help us see beyond the veil. There is more to this life than just the physical, than just paying our paychecks, and we have to remind ourselves. I think that what's happening in the world around us is a great opportunity to remember that we are not just little mice that have to be running in a wheel every day, Groundhog Day, get up, go to work, pay the bill, get up, go to work, pay the bill. It's like we are much more than that. And so this time that's allowed us a moment to take a breathe, a fresh, deep, fresh air into our body and a breath, so that we can kind of reconnect with ourselves and notice how we're running around like crazy. A lot of people have been calling me, telling me, Geraldine, it's amazing. I'm running around like crazy, and now I've had to stay home and stop, and I don't even recognize myself anymore. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people have found more work. A lot of things are changing, and we're being put into the unknown. pretty fiercely being faced with the unknown. So in times like this, the most important thing to remember is to really connect with that inner communication. What's happening inside? How do you feel in this moment? Are you in alignment with what you're doing? Take the time to kind of look back at all the things that you've done in your life and decide whether it's something that you want to continue doing. This is a great opportunity to do that. Now, what happens if we don't do this? We can continue, that the rabbit race, continue going back to the same patterns that we used to. But what we're going to find is that they're not really working anymore. And our body feels it. The body's changing. The body doesn't want to be under stress, under anxiety, under this strain all the time. We are demanding collectively a new way of honoring our body and our needs. So, things are changing. Even the economy is going to change. So we need to find our new self in this new world that is kind of emerging. It is an opportunity of a lifetime where we are going to have to redefine things in a new way. And the question is, how do we want to end up on the other side? Going back to the same patterns of before are not going to work. And so for me, understanding that is what really helps me reconnect with what I need. When I understood that my emotions were tools, it really helped me take control of the things that I needed in order to create, to manifest in life. I was no longer in alignment with the corporate world. I knew that for many years. So the moment that I left that, it was like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I realized that I had so much more energy, a more zest for life. So many things returned to me just by making that one decision. And by doing that, I reconnected with what I was good at, what I was able to do, what I was able to provide, what was true to me. And in that state, the money just came, the opportunities just came. And I hear this time and time again, Dave. People that come into what they're supposed to be doing, their passion, what they're excited about, what gets them up in the morning and gets them going, that's where you come into flow. That's where abundance comes in. So this is just a reminder to come back into that state of creation, not survival. When we're in survival mode, we're struggling. But when we're creating, the tables turn. The tables turn, and the way that we react with the world and the world reacts towards us, it begins to change really nicely.
Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Geraldine, is it a matter of enjoying the little things in relaxing?
Absolutely.
Because I look at things that when I am stressed out, and I stress very easily, much like many people in our audience, I try and do little things. I try and walk in bare feet. I like to lay down on the bed, put my head on a pillow, and let my legs overhang on the bed just to relax, because it just relaxes me. A hot bath, a lot of people enjoy that. I mean, is it a matter of changing that attitude by enjoying the little things that we all enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, our mind and our body respond to the things that are in our environment. If we're constantly creating an environment that's toxic and not welcoming, our body's going to really, it's going to be stressed out all the time. So taking the time, loving yourself enough to choose activities that are nurturing, that are kind, that are loving, that are conscious, are exceptional for you. So taking that bath, taking that moment, it's like a meditation. You take a moment to reconnect with your body, to really see what it needs in that time. And boy, do we need that right now. Some of us are working overtime. We're doing so many projects at once and we're exhausted. So taking the time to kind of check in and, like you were saying, walking barefoot. Just that, like, even if it's like 10 minutes of mindfulness walking barefoot, how recharging is that for you, Dave?
I find it very recharging and relaxing. I just like to tune out, just concentrate on myself. And I don't get a lot of time to do that. Most people do not get a lot of time to do that. Where do we find the time?
Yeah, and well, here's the thing, and this is what I teach, in my courses. I'm actually starting a new course coming up next month on how to work with the energy in the body. We are physical and non-physical beings. We're multidimensional. And what that means is that we got to get acquainted with how the body works. Our brain is a holographic network that connects with our muscles, our nerves, our nervous system, and it even connects with our multidimensional body. So the aura, which is made up of many layers of information that are constantly like little feelers, they're like receivers that are picking up information from all around you like a sponge. So we got to understand how our environment really affects the physical body, and our mind, our stress, our anxiety, all of those emotions that are pretty heavy as a result of having pretty high stress lives, they cause a lot of toxic imbalances within the body. So when we learn how to do techniques like grounding, for example, which is literally visualizing yourself grounded, connected to the earth, wherever you are, whether you're in a high-rise office or whether you're, in a park, you're connected to the earth, you are balancing the positive and negative charges of the body just by connecting yourself, because you are intentionally aligning yourself with the vibrational frequency of the planet Earth. The planet Earth has a toroidal field around it. We have toroidal fields around the body. HeartMath Institute, look it up, talks about the study of the toroidal field, of the energetic field that we have around our heart, one of the most powerful organs in the body that are emitting signals that are literally sending out information to those around us. And we are also receiving those waves. So we got to get acquainted with this new language. It's energy language that we need to begin to learn. All of us need to learn, because what happens is if we don't, the body is kind of like a candle in the wind. It gets pushed around from left to right. We're stressed out. We have the bills to pay. We have relationships that are stressing. We have our own self-anger at ourselves or frustration at ourselves that we're dealing with. And so when all this stuff builds up, of course we're going to fall apart. We're going to get really stressed out and cause a lot of damage to ourselves. So, these little techniques, really easy. Visualize the center of the earth, visualize yourself connecting, or very simply, bring yourself into the present moment from thoughts of the past or thoughts of the future. There's so much power in that, just to bring yourself into the now. Because in the now, right now, all of us are here talking, listening. We're all safe. We're at home. We are, seated. We're in our warm space. We had food to eat, water to drink. We're good right now. This is the present moment. So what if we just take this moment and really indulge in that, enjoy that fully, So that's the power of these little tools that we can do, Dave. And they don't take time away from the now. It's actually here, right here for us to explore.
I got to ask you, because I'm a big fan of massage, and Julie in the chat room, actually, she mentioned, she goes, Dave, you look like you need a massage. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've been a fan of massage since I was a teenager. My mother used to take me, when she'd go for a therapeutic massage, she'd take me, once in a blue moon, just to go for that as well. And a lot of people use that. What is the strength of massage that really, really relaxes us? What is it about the feeling of human touch, rubbing our arms and legs and back and our necks, that really, really sends us into almost feeling like human gelatin as we relax into somebody's arms and touch?
You know what? I'm so glad you brought up massages, because this is like the next step of understanding energy, the subtle energy of the body, right? Because how do we know that we're storing stuff in the body? When we touch the body and we touch a muscle in the back, for example, that's tender, that hurts at touch, there you go. That is how you know, in that knot that you have in the back of your body, that muscle area that's tender is holding tremendous amount of information, okay? And this information is emotional. A lot of time it's stress that we're holding on to. We don't realize the movements that our bodies do when we're responding emotionally emotional or reacting to events that happen in our life. And repetitive events, reactions are causing these muscles to really tense up and store that information. So when we do massage, we are working with moving that energy out of the body. And look at how beautiful it feels. You begin to feel more expansive, more fluid, more open. And it is such a therapeutic, wonderful technique to use to help reconnect with your body. I mean, I've worked with some incredible masseuses out there, massage therapists that have really connected. When they massage a certain area, they can even pick up, what it is that you're storing there, because it's information, as I said. But another thing that we got to take note is that the human body, because it's multidimensional, has meridian lines that run through the body. These meridian lines are networks of energy information, and they are interconnected. For example, in reflexology in the feet, if you press your toe, for example, it's connected to your head. Okay, so for example, if you have a headache that's like pounding headache, if you press that point on your toe, you can actually release a headache. And there's a lot of information about this. I mean, the more that you learn about, the more you can learn how to help yourself with aches, pains, symptoms. I was able to help myself with a headache and a toothache a couple weeks ago just by pressing a point on my foot. It was unbelievable. I tried everything and it was the only thing that worked for me. So, I learned, and we learn by connecting with the body, by practicing, by trying it out. The power of touch in the body, of moving energy through the body. So it is amazing. And if you guys, are cooped at home with roommates or friends, see if you can try to give each other some massages. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but just as long as you move the energy in the body, it really helps out, really helps move that tension. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
I used to have a massage therapist where she would get upset if she didn't put me to sleep. And I don't know what she did, but she would rub the back of my legs and my calf muscles. And she did this technique that literally, it felt like there was about 4 to 6 hands on my leg at the same time rubbing. She'd go up, from up to down. And she did it so fast that it literally felt like there was 4 to 6 hands on my leg. And I never understood that. I never understood how she was able to do that. But yeah, seriously, I mean, it's amazing how many people have not gone for a massage, whether it's deep tissue or just reflexology or relaxing therapy, just to take advantage of it. It is really strange.
That is true. More people need to get massages. Yeah, that is very true. It's very healthy. I mean, I've heard people really heal themselves emotionally and physically just by a massage. So it is such a powerful thing, that touch, the touch of someone. It really is.
The scalp too. Massaging the scalp.
Those are my favorite, actually. I love that. That's amazing.
Well, if somebody can actually get their fingers through my thick hair, I'd be grateful. I would be absolutely grateful. Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We got about a minute left before we got to go to break. How come the body reacts the way it does to that other human touch? I mean, even if we sleep, okay, and we're sleeping with our partner or our husband or our wife or whomever it may be, we need that cuddling. We need that human interaction even when we're sleeping.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's really interesting. But the body, as I said, it's recording information. We always forget that the body is like this massive sponge that's absorbing information from around us. When we are heavily disconnected from the body is neglected. And nobody's paying attention to it. Nobody is addressing those parts, those needs, emotional, physical. And so when we have touch, it's like we're reminded, we are reminded. And a lot of things happen. A lot of things in our brain happening when someone touches us, and energetically as well. We are tapping in to our own information and the information of the person that's touching us as well. The problem is that we usually externalize our attention, so we don't really focus on it too much.
Geraldine, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. We're going to be back right after this as a spiritual you with the incredibly talented Geraldine Orozco, BayAreaMeditation.com, GeraldineOrozco.com. We'll be back right after this. Do you go to the chiropractor too?
I used to go to the chiropractor pretty often, actually. It really helped me when I was in a car accident about, 12 years ago. That helped me a lot. But I haven't gone. In a long time. How about you?
I love the chiropractor.
Yeah.
And if you got to find a chiropractor, though, who isn't just going to do a quick, like, snap, okay, we'll see you in 2 days, and then snap. You need a guy who's going to spend, at least 20, 30 minutes with you.
Right.
That's what I find.
Yeah, there are some good ones. I had a great guy, but he went up to, I believe it was Oregon or Washington or something. God, he was so wonderful. And it really helped me. I mean, for me, I started out not being able to move my shoulder. And then after a couple months, the pain was gone. I could move it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love the chiropractor. Love it. And I got to tell you, I am pretty excited to go back here soon. Pretty excited to go back.
You're due for another one, Dave. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
You could take some time and do that. Your friends.
Yeah, massage and chiropractic healing. Just snap me back. Love it. Yes, puts me in my Zen mode. Like, I'm to the point. You know, it's really weird. I can go on YouTube and I can watch like people getting chiropractic healings and adjustments, and it relaxes me just watching them. And I'm like, how does that even work? Why is this relaxing me? But then I think, you know what? My body is actually knowing what is going on and knows that is relaxation, that is good. Yeah. And I actually relax and I almost fall asleep if I'm watching like chiropractic on YouTube. It's weird.
And how funny is that? And how amazing that you picked up on it. But you're right. Your body knows what's happening and it's responding to it. I love this awareness, Dave. It's just wonderful. Mm-hmm. But it's time for that. Tune up. Oh, your biggest fan on Twitter, Marty, says, Geraldine is a great person. The more you get to know her, the more you love her. She is one of the most caring people I know. I love Marty. I know he's listening on YouTube right now. Love Marty. Marty, thank you so much. So awesome to have you here. Absolutely. One of our favorite veterans around here, Mr. Marty. Mr. Marty. So I guess this kind of sucks that all of your travel time has been kind of shut down, eh? You know what? Actually, I thought I was going to be disappointed. I was supposed to be in Paris. I was supposed to be in London about this time. But you know what? I'm enjoying my time at home so much, Dave. I have to tell you, I've gotten so much done. And I've been taking this time to focus on my writing. You know, I've been writing my book. And along with other things, I've just went through a complete sugar detox, which was absolutely not easy, Dave. I don't blame you. Done a real sugar detox, and I'm talking about all sugar from the diet, just to clean out the system. Like even fruit? Yes, even fruit. How do you do that? I almost couldn't. You know, it's not funny. It was not funny. But I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about nutrition. I've been taking time to cook, which is so nice. It's kind of like a newfound total hobby. I love cooking and making really beautiful, healthy food. So I've been enjoying that so much right now. I'm telling you, you get more and more perfect every time I talk to you. More and more perfect. That's funny. Yeah, so it's been nice. It's been nice to spend time. What about you? Well, have you been going to the office, or are you working remotely? No, I have been I'm going back to the office now. Okay. But normally I had been sitting in the studio, and
all of my irons that I have in the fire literally got put on hold. I mean, we landed 2 more radio stations right before the pandemic hit, and they were actually quite thankful. The one in Ontario, our first Canadian station, Saga 960, they were so happy to get us on the air because they were so sick of hearing COVID-19 on the radio, and they're like, I guess I said the magic words. I said, we're not talking COVID on our show, and they're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of worked out pretty well. I mean, but a lot of like station managers and everything, they're not around. Right. So we're kind of caught. We're caught with advertising. We're caught with, everything else. But I mean, thank goodness that, my former boss called me up and said, hey, it's time to come back to work. And okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Very cool. So awesome. I'm so happy to hear that, Dave. It's amazing how life works, Dave, isn't it? It's so magical.
I know. I just don't look forward to these 15-hour days again. That's what I know. But you know what? I have faith. We're just about to enter our final commercial here during the break. And I want to give a quick shout out to Kyle for the super chat, and Fap. I mean, that is extraordinary, my friend. An extraordinary super chat. Thank you so much. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but I really appreciate what you do, man. Thank you so much. Super Chat is open. We have the SOR Space Travelers Club at our website for just $5 a month, and you can do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. We got new T-shirts coming very, very soon. I'm just waiting for the designs. Here we go with the second half hour with Geraldine Orozco. Ooh, the thunder. Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. There we go. Here we go. Music's on. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate all of you taking the time. I want to remind you that if you have missed portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and much more. Also want to remind you, you can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, as well my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. At Geraldine Orozco is Geraldine's Twitter handle. You can follow her there, as well as Geraldine Orozco comes in for the Spiritual You once a month, usually in the first week of a new month, and we love having her here. We're talking all things spiritual and Zen. Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com. Check it on out. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hey, Dave. Happy to be here again.
Well, we're always glad that you're here as well. Geraldine, right before the break, we were talking about, getting in touch with the body and figuring out those signs that we all have. Now, for a lot of people, when it comes to meditation, because, we live in that 24-hour society, it's very tough. And even to find that 5 minutes to sit in the shower or the bathtub and just relax and chill. Do you have any advice for people who don't have that time in order to reinvest in themselves? Whether it's just mindful thinking or sitting with their eyes closed or whatever, because I think for a lot of us, myself included, I work 15 hours a day, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. We're walking around like zombies, I tell you.
You know what? We're coming into a new invitation of being, Dave. Something that really came through this week, very interesting through some writing, talking about the integration of our understanding of what is right and what is wrong. I think a lot of what takes us away from the connection to ourselves is a fear of even the unknown, a fear of facing ourselves. And I've experienced this myself. I've also, when I speak with my clients, when I'm teaching corporate meditation, and when I speak to my clients internationally, one of the things that is very subtle that comes up is this silent little fear to see the parts of ourselves that we don't want to see. And I think it's something that I would love to kind of shed some light on, now that you asked this question, because it's one of the biggest blockages that doesn't allow us to connect with ourselves. What is it that we're doing in our lives that makes us feel shame, guilt, anger towards ourselves? A lot of anger towards ourselves that we have because sometimes we feel that we're not meeting expectations, our own expectations. We're not doing the things that we want to do. We're not meeting the goals or making the amount of money that we want to make. So there's a lot of frustration that we're dealing with in our everyday life, and so that causes a really huge fragmentation. And it's difficult for us sometimes to sit and even look at ourselves in the mirror. Look at ourselves in the eyes. One of the most powerful practices that I did in my life when I was coming into awakening was doing mirror work by just sitting, looking at myself in the mirror, looking into my eyes, direct into my eyes. And I'm telling you, it seems like something so simple, but as you look into your eyes, there's a certain resistance, and there's maybe even a disgust, maybe a feeling of discomfort, because you are reconnecting with a part of you that you're looking at the shame of guilt. You're looking at the parts of yourself that you reject, that you feel are unworthy. And once you get past that, you begin to look at your face for the first time. And I know some of you may have practiced this before. It's a really powerful practice, such a simple little thing. But this really helped me understand myself on a different level, because I began to see who was Geraldine, the authentic self, the authentic person that doesn't try to please others or look like a certain way for others, or maybe always being attentive to other people's needs, just purely my connection to myself. So this is something that I invite you guys to do that is a really powerful practice. It's just sitting and connecting with yourself. And I have a couple videos of this on my YouTube channel on how to do that. But it's a practice that, at night before bed, you can just take a moment with a mirror and look at yourself. Look at your day. How has your day gone? Are you happy with the things that you did today? Are you happy with the way that you expressed yourself and handled things today? It's a great little reconnection exercise. And as we come in right now to a new way of being, Dave, we are integrating all of those aspects of ourselves that we reject, that we hate. We need to support ourselves. It's time to seriously support the parts of ourselves that we hate, that we are angry at. Because without that, we're just going to go in a downward spiral, into more and more frustration. And it shows. It shows in the way we eat, shows in the way that we speak, the way that we carry ourselves, the choices that we make in our life. How many of your choices are constructive to your well-being? How many of them are destructive to your well-being? So these are some questions that I would really invite you to ask yourself this month, as you're learning new ways of meditation, of connecting, of finding that time to connect with yourself.
What about for those who feel unworthy, that they feel that their hard work is not shown the respect? Whether it's parenting, whether it's at their job, whether it's creating a radio show, and we sit there and we feel that we don't deserve the good things that happen. There's a lot of people. I can tell you right now, as you were speaking, I've had somebody in our chat room, FAP, who's done something incredible in the last 2 minutes here. And I'm just blown away. Like it's honestly brought me to tears, and I feel unworthy. And there's many people out there who feel unworthy of what they are trying to accomplish, and maybe not getting the recognition they deserve, or that pat on the back, or they don't take compliments very well.
Absolutely. And that's a big one, Dave, even myself. And my goodness, are you worthy, Dave? My goodness, are we all such special people? The problem is that, and this is what I work with one-on-one with my clients every day. Even today, I had a couple clients that were dealing with this exact same issue, is this complete rejection of ourselves. But where did we learn that rejection? If you go back to your childhood and you begin to look at what you learned from your mother, what you learned from your father, you're going to realize that a lot of these ways of being, of reacting to things, are things that we learned from them because they perhaps didn't honor themselves. They didn't feel worthy. And so this is what we learn. The truth is, how many people in our lives do we know that really, truly honor and respect themselves and hold themselves accountable, hold themselves and in such high respect where they feel worthy? We don't know too many, really. Maybe they look like it from the outside, but what really speaks is their actions and the way that their life is led, the product of their life, their success. And when I'm talking about success, I'm talking about their ability to feel at peace, in balance with themselves and with what they're doing. We are so disconnected from ourselves that we don't even know whether we agree with the work that we're doing on our daily basis. We are so in denial with the fact that how we feel about things. So the first step is to really get just really honest. And honesty is the hardest thing, Dave, sometimes. Why do you feel we're unworthy? We have these ideas that we're not enough. And who are we comparing ourselves with? Everything is not outside. Everything is inside. The problem is we look outside to these examples which are an illusion, because there is not a single person on this planet Earth that is an example of complete integration. If they were completely integrated, they wouldn't be here. We live in a world, this Earth, this planet Earth, is an expression of duality. Everything has this dualistic aspect to it. And so that being said, our job as humans coming in as this dualistic expression ourselves is to be able to hold space for both, because that's what we create. We create when we can express both of those. What makes it difficult is the meaning that we begin to apply to these things. We begin to apply meaning to the things that we think are bad, the things that we think are shameful, not worthy, not good enough, mistakes that we make. All of these things that we are constantly judging ourselves, all of these judgments are a product of systems that are put in order to create control. And they're put in to make control for centuries and centuries. Even the concept of shame and guilt was imposed through the church originally in ancient history in order to create control. When did sexuality, when did all of these things become shameful? By the influence of the church, of many different things that have inverted the purity of creative life forces, the purity of sex, the purity of ourselves, of our bodies. We have become deeply shamed of ourselves, right? Even our body, even it's difficult to talk about touching the body or connecting with the body because we feel shame. So, all of these things are inversions of truths. And so what's going to make our life more comfortable is by understanding what is true, what is real. And so getting rid of all of these thought forms that are confusing and deceptive, that take us away from being the organic, authentic human, that's the best way to kind of reconnect with yourself and to begin to live a more authentic, expansive self. When we're in fear, we contract. When we are in a state of love, we can expand. We can really come into our true expression without limitations. And that's when things start to get interesting. We come into abundance, health, vitality. We attract the things that we need. Everything begins to shift from there.
Does that include that we got to respect flat earthers?
We got to respect flat earthers. That's correct. Love the flat earthers. Come on, Dave.
Okay. I'll show some love to the flat earthers as well. Hollow Earthers, though, they're still on the hit list. I could tell you that.
Oh, come on. All right.
All right. Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Geraldine, I think it's, in listening to what you said, I think it's the personal strain we put on ourselves, because for a lot of us out there, we try to be perfect in everything we do. And we have to be able to understand that we don't have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. We don't need to try so hard and stress ourselves out over perfection when with who we are and the work that we do really is what other people are looking for. It's just a good effort.
That's right. And really perfection, there's two sides to perfection that I want to address. Number one, perfection by our concept is an illusion, right? Because the problem is that our idea of perfection, we're basing it on things that are untrue. They're incomplete truths. We look at what Hollywood presents to us as the perfect man, the perfect woman, what society shows us as success. So a lot of these things that we're comparing to are things that are an illusion that's created for us by society. And a lot of that is backed up by companies that are profiting from us trying to maintain and to reach that illusion. So we got to get really, really real about that. We got to understand why we are the way that we are as a human race. What's motivating us? The things that we're watching outside of us motivate us to buy things, to be things, to be a certain way, look a certain way, and all of that is a lie. It's an illusion. So what's real, though? Take a look at nature, Dave. Nature is absolutely an exact science, an exact math. It is physically, anatomically, and the perfect expression of movement. A rose, it expands, it grows, it dies. It has its life cycle naturally. There is nothing that, whether it's a lack of sun or a change in environment, the plant can die or it can live, but it is perfect. Every single aspect of itself is a part of its life cycle. And we have to begin to understand and re-educate ourselves on what is the natural, authentic life cycle of the human being. It is not what we've been taught, It is different. We are beings that we require love. We require love towards ourselves, acknowledgement, acceptance of ourselves as we are, as absolutely perfect. If we were raised in a way that we believed that we were perfect, a lot of this self-hate, doubt, and the scrutiny that we put ourselves through on a daily basis would be non-existent. Imagine how liberated we would feel, how much easier life would become. So, these are things that we just, once we realize them, we got to apply them. Tomorrow morning, how many times do you criticize yourself? Do you judge yourself for things that you do? How can your life change by just choosing not to do that one thing? It just really shifts. But this year is about application and action. We have to apply all of this wisdom that we know. We're not thinking about it in concepts anymore. It's about embodying this wisdom. So the time is now, ladies and gentlemen, to do that.
That's a very powerful and prophetic statement.
And you know what? Actually, our guest is going to talk more about that. I'm excited to have him on because he's going to talk about the numerology of this year, talking about that. And I've been feeling that coming on, Dave. But when I had a meeting with Michael, I've had him do my numerology. I was blown away. He was able to tell me my purpose, my life purpose in that reading, and also told me about this year and what it meant. So it was just very interesting. We're going to have him on later on.
I know he's going to be joining us in the next hour of the Spiritual You, Geraldine, sneaking in a guest on us and saying, hey, we got to get this guy on. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's absolutely do this and have some fun with it. Geraldine, we don't give ourselves enough credit with whatever we do, and that's been a big theme for what we are talking about tonight on the Spiritual You. When are we allowed to realize that we're allowed to give ourselves a break, that we're allowed to give ourselves a pat on the back that doesn't normally happen. You know, is it manly enough or womanly enough to be able to admit that you actually love yourself? Because for a lot of people out there, you know, whether it's due to any political climate, you know, sexual orientation, or whatever it may be, we seem to struggle in trying to find that love for ourselves internally, that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it's going back to this illusion, you know, this illusion of it, which is completely not real. The idea that we have to feel shame when we think about loving ourselves. I mean, that's something that, again, imagine how much control has been created by the system, by putting in the heads of young boys that when they tap into their feminine aspect, their divine feminine aspect, it is shameful to express their emotions. How much harm have we done in our society? How much harm have we done to young ladies that when they want to tap into their divine masculine, for example, and do something or move or act on something, that they feel shame or not worthy enough to do it? Look at how our entire society would change if these kinds of false concepts would no longer exist. You know, so we cause ourselves more harm as a society by believing these kinds of things that are inverted truths than looking at what's real. And to me, what is real? It's what is expressed, the authentic expression of oneself, mind, body, and soul. When that comes up, we realize that even as children, we know inherently that love it's what's right. We look at our parents fighting, we feel disconnected, we feel aggravated by the violence that we experience in our own home because we know it doesn't work, it doesn't connect with us. It's not a part of this natural expression. You know, so we are basically living our entire lives completely disconnected from what's real and what is right. And a lot of us, we are starseeds. A lot of you that are energy workers, you're empaths, you feel it. You know that what's happening outside, that's not the way life is supposed to be. So our job now is to kind of begin to reconnect with that inner child, with that feminine, masculine aspect of ourselves, and get away from those false concepts, you know, where we begin to tap into shame. Shame is control. When we start to feel shame, something is controlling us. What is it? Is it the ego? Is it society? Is it this fear of seeing truth? What's happening there? So it's really important to notice that and really be able to work with ourselves to get past that right away as soon as possible.
We got about 2 minutes before we got to go to break. At the top of the hour, Geraldine Orozco is our guest. Kevin is asking, Geraldine, how do I figure out then why I hate myself?
Mm-hmm. That's such a powerful question. Why we hate ourselves. You know, we experience these kinds of feelings towards ourselves. We got to get to the root cause. What is it about you that you cannot stand? Make a list of all the things and go through each one of those things that you can't stand about yourself or that you hate and face them up front. Is it true what you feel? So your emotions are a result of an experience. Go back to that experience, revisit the experience, understand what's happening there. Is it true how you're feeling, or is it an incomplete perception of what you experienced? Most of the time we look at things, but you got to remember, we're only looking at things through our eyes, through our perception. And so what ends up happening is that we're not looking at the full picture. You got to look at the product of, for example, your mother. Maybe she had a psychopath father that really abused her. And so does this woman have the tools to be able to provide you with the role of a mother that you needed? Okay. And so we got to get real about those things. We have to acknowledge we can't ignore truths, you know, and so the more that we become aware, we become conscious of all of these things, we can then assess ourselves and understand why we are the way we are. And we begin to lift shame and guilt and judgment on ourselves and others. And we realize that only we can be held accountable for our emotions. Only us. We are the universe. We are the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega. We are all of it. So without our understanding of ourselves, everything begins and ends with us. You know, we become victims.
That's right.
So we don't want to become victims.
No.
So that's how we begin to shift that. Yeah.
Geraldine, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because at the top of the hour, Geraldine's friend Michael is going to join us. We're going to get into numerology. We're going to figure out what that's all about. Yeah, we're going to take your questions as well if you're in one of the chat rooms or on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio, The Spiritual You, with Geraldine Orozco, her website, GeraldineOrozco.com and BayAreaMeditation.com. Spaced Out Radio continues with Hour 2 right after this. All right. I'm just going to run my doggies outside. You get to take a break. We got about 7 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, Geraldine?
Great. See you soon.
Okay.
Paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today. Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spicing up.
Bumble me, baby.
Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get
All
it
right.
today at kajans.com.
Hello, Geraldine. I am back. Hello, YouTubers. Hi, Christoph. Hi, Jeannie. Welcome back. Hi, Nick. I gotta say, Fap, you winded me a little bit. And thank you. Thank you for the extreme super chats. Very kind of you. Kyle, thank you so much as well. I really appreciate that. That one knocked me out a little bit, man. That one knocked me out. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. All right, let's see what's happening in our other chat rooms as well. Let's see here. I love this new keyboard that I got. Love it, love it, love it. Oh. The moon does look gorgeous tonight. Who was making that comment about the moon? I think that was Eva or somebody like that. Oh, dude, I would love to pound back about 50 tacos right now. I'd love to nail down about 50 tacos. I had a client of mine today come up from the city where there's like Taco Bell, and I'm like, you didn't bring any Taco Bell, did you? I'm like, you bastard. You bastard. Oh. Geraldine, is your microphone on mute? I gotta call your friend in right now. Where's my mouse? Let's go.
Hey, Dave. Sorry. Yes, I'm back.
Oh, cool. I gotta call our friend here.
Okay.
How do you pronounce Michael's last name?
It's Bispiglia.
Bispiglia? Okay.
Yep, you got it.
All right.
Michael speaking.
Hey, Michael, it's Dave. We're just about to go on air. Geraldine is here as well. And
okay.
Music is on.
Listening to Space
you guys can talk. I'm going to talk.
Follow Dave on
All right.
Twitter.
I'll introduce you, Michael. We'll bring you in, okay?
Spaced Out Radio Show.
Oh, okay. So I just wait.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for hanging on out with us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America, and on the digital side, we're on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Horridiform. Horridiform is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and getting your horns up for our resident music god, Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Lots more on there as well. Tonight, on the Spiritual You, we have Geraldine Orozco with us, and she has a friend that she is going to introduce as we take a turn into numerology here. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much, Dave.
Oh, no problem. You got a friend with us now, a good friend of yours who is very much accurate when it comes to numerology and everything along the numbers game when it comes to life. Who's our friend Michael here?
Yes, wonderful. Well, Michael Bisfiglia is an amazing numerologist. And I met him at East West Bookstore here in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is a really awesome metaphysical bookstore where they have events. And he's one of the readers there. And the other day, I had a chance to have a reading with him, and it blew my mind. The ability that he had to, just by numbers, calculating my name and in the year of birth. I'm sure he's going to tell you more about it, but being able to identify my purpose, my life purpose. And I've never quite heard before a numerologist that can identify your life purpose to such accuracy. I'm not just talking about, oh, you're going to be a healer. We're talking about real life purpose, like as a vibrational frequency. And so I was really, really connected with Michael because of his ability to do that. And he really kind of goes back to original numerology, going back to alchemy and, working with numbers on that level. He is a native here to the Bay Area. And I'm just going to read a little bit about him. He was raised Catholic, and he wasn't actually into all of this until he says his only relationship with metaphysics was the astrology section of the newspaper until, he grew up, he got married. He has his own business as a air hydraulics mechanic, and then he was divorced. And then after that, he met a friend that introduced him to numerology, I believe it was. But why don't I let Michael tell us a little bit more about himself? Michael, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So, how did you get into this numerology? Let's start there. I want tell us about your story about how you got into it.
Well, you want the short version or the long version?
Let's take the long version.
Short.
Let's take long. We got time. We got time. Let's learn about you, Mr. Mike.
Well, like Geraldine was saying, it started back when, my only relationship with metaphysics was, the newspaper, basically, and never even heard the term before. So when I divorced, my first wife wanted a divorce, I couldn't figure out why that happened. Why was it, I thought everything was just roses. So then what happened is my next door neighbor actually introduced me to astrology. And I was telling her about my plight, and everything. And she said she had been doing self-hypnosis, and she was going to these lectures. And, she had was into a lot of different, metaphysical things. And so I started studying astrology. And I said, geez, I might just become an astrologer. Then I realized that my first wife and I were just not suited for one another at all. And I'm surprised we stayed together 5 years. So then the quest was on, and we started, going into more and more metaphysical, my metaphysical journey. You start sampling things, and it was crystals and Reiki and running energy and, all kinds of different aspects. And then I was really studying the astrology. And about 1984, I think it was, I picked up a numerology book, and I was kind of thumbing through it, and then I says, this is really complicated. And it didn't really kind of make sense, and I was having a hard time. How do I apply this to my life? And so I just stuck it on a shelf. So then about 5 years later, I was just doing my astrology stuff, and I came across Pythagoras, which supposedly was the father of number, this Greek philosopher, and he coined the phrase philosopher. So, and then I was really reading about him in association with the numbers and what his philosophy was about that. And so I said, hey, I've got a numerology book. And then the light bulb went off. Oh, boy. So I ran home, get the book, and I'm studying it. And then I was looking in the back of the book for the resources of this person who, wrote this book. And so I got those books, and some were out of print, but I got as much information as I could. And then that was the quest. And then the quest was on. And then I was studying, and I kind of dropped astrology, and I really kind of went with the numerology more and more. And I was studying it for about 15 years. And I was still in a quandary about it. Even all the books I had gotten in that, I think I have over 50 books. But to make a long story even longer, I was studying in one of the books there, and this guy was going to actually be in San Francisco at the old expo that they used to have years ago. I think they've moved it now, but it was in the fashion center in San Francisco, the Whole Life Expo. And he was going to be there, and I had his book, and he had been a numerologist for like 20 years. And so, I'm going to get my big question was, what takes precedent in the life, the name or the birth date? Because you can make a case for either one. And books a lot of times don't tell you what that philosophy is about. And so I get over there, I get him to sign my book, and I'm saying, hey, what takes precedent in life, the birth date or the name? He says, well, it's just a matter of semantics. And I go, huh? It's like, really? This is your best answer? So I was right back to square one as far as I was concerned. So I go back. I'm in a quandary, so I just go back to what I was doing, and I found this one book that was really inspirational, and it was by Dr. Juno Jordan, who was actually an astrologer, but her mother was a numerologist, and she was Dr. Julia Seaton was the mother of Juno Jordan, and she was one of the first ladies to bring numerology to the United States from Europe, and so she started something called the Numerological Institute, which was in Concord, California, which was actually in the Bay Area here. And so I was going, wow, this is a great thing. I'll just go over there. I'll join the institute, and I'll just really learn about, in numerology. And of course, that was 25 years prior. They were gone. The institute was gone. There didn't seem to be anybody to really learn from at that particular time. The net wasn't up as much as it is now. I wish it had been. So I started looking more and more into the different books and things like that. But for the most part, I was kind of adopting my numerology around this particular book that she had called The Romance in Your Name. I think it's very well written, and a lot of research went into it. And for 25 years, they studied the worth of numerology, different numerologists, and they compared notes every month or whatever. And they came to find out that it was a viable science. It was things that you could rely upon, the numbers meaning certain things. And when certain numbers appeared, certain things could happen. And so, but there was still that quandary in my mind about the name and the birth date. It really... they had the name being the most important thing in the life, and the birth date was secondary. So I literally one day sat down and says, I want a teacher. And I just blurted it out to the universe. I actually said it out loud. I want a teacher. So I actually didn't even think about that after that. I just went back to what I was doing, and I was being fairly successful in my readings and that, and I had read quite a few people. And I was developing my own charts and things like that, because the books don't really give you anything that really is like a complete chart. And that helped a lot in organizing the information. I started. This guy was referred to me for a reading. And from one of my friends, and he was in pretty bad shape. He was still worried about going back to prison. He had a restraining order against his children. He was divorced. He had gone bankrupt. He owed the IRS and the State Board of Equalization and everybody money. He had a good job. He's working for this electrical company. Geraldine had mentioned I was air hydraulics mechanic. He was actually one of my customers over the years, which was interesting. And this was quite a while before any of this other stuff had taken place with the numbers and that. And so he came to me for a reading. So he's watching me, and I'm starting to do his numbers, and I got his name and his birth date and things like that. And he says, I do numerology. I said, really? I said, well, here, give me a reading. And in one word, he summed my life up. And I'm going, whoa, where did you get that information? I says, I haven't seen that in any of the books. He says, you won't. He says, it's not written in any of the books. And so we proceeded to start working together. So he had this knowledge that probably would have died with him because he had sort of given up on humanity. And I was very fortunate to have Dad. He's not with us anymore, but he kind of drifted off. We kind of drifted apart, and I don't know where he actually ended up, but I found out recently that he had passed away. But he was one of the most profound readers that I had ever met. I mean, he was really good. And I knew that there was more information that he had, but he says he couldn't remember. He had lost his notes and things from it because he was actually taught this information by his bookkeeper in his business. It was very interesting, and she was really, I guess, evidently a fantastic numerologist. But the information, I guess, just kind of. I have pieces of it, at least, and it's helped me out understand the planet and people a lot in a lot more in-depth way. And he helped with the quandary too of the name and the birth date. And now I've come to understand how they work together and what the dynamics are of that. So that's my numerology story.
That is amazing. So one of the things I wanted to ask was the origin of numerology. Michael, could you tell us the origin? And, you were explaining to me in such a beautiful way about the electrons, protons, particles. Where does this all start? It's so interesting.
Good question.
Well, your awareness of numerology is yourself. You have numbers built into you when you come here. You have 10 fingers, 10 toes. So you have all the numbers 1 through 9, and then that 10. The Greeks considered 10 the number of perfection. So see, we're the number of perfection. So that's kind of where us as humans have a real awareness of using numbers by counting on our fingers. Anything that can be measured needs numbers. Quantity needs numbers. Anything that is a distance, all of the other sciences depend upon numbers to exist, but numbers are the only things that can exist alone. That's what Pythagoras was supposedly quoted as saying, that everything depends upon numbers to exist, but numbers are the only things that can exist alone. I'll read you a little something here. I was kind of looking at this. The principles governing the numbers were understood to be the principles of real existence. The elements of numbers were the elements of realities. Pythagoras said that this relationship of numbers to experience was divine law, the foundation of the modern system of analysis called numerology. Does that give you enough to think about?
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And you were talking about how in the beginning there were atoms which contain numbers like electrons, protons, particles. The atoms were transformed through the 4 forces of the universe: the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, the magnetism, the gravity, which contain numbers. The atoms were formed, creating sun, galaxies, planets, which contained numbers. there was a frequency that was interacting between the galaxies and the suns and the planets which contained these numbers. And when the Earth was formed, it took a certain length of time, which as it revolved on its axis, created a time for day and a time for night. So when living things and man showed up on the planet, they brought an outward expression of numbers: 1 head, 2 arms, 2 legs, 10 fingers, 10 toes, and most important feature of the human was 10. This, I believe, is the beginning of true awareness of the connection with the use of numbers. So numbers were used for measurement, quantity, describing cycles of the planets and the suns and the moons, and people saw that certain numbers were associated with actions, feelings. For example, when a man and a woman come together, it took 2 people to create. The moon was romantic. There was love. It brought out emotions in people. And therefore, the number 2 became associated with the emotions, quanting in the instability of water, associated with partnerships. It took 2 points to make a line in geometry, to measure a distance, so on and so forth. So it's just so fascinating, Dave. And I was talking about this with Michael, and so we wanna learn about this. So how does it work? How do you take someone's numbers and get information? How does that work?
Well, there's 2 parts to numerology. We have our birth date we can't do anything about, and we have our name we can play around with, okay? And so when we add the birth date together, we get a particular number. And that number is the theme of our life. It's what everything revolves around. It's people say, well, why was I born? What am I here to do? What am I supposed to be doing? That number gives you what your life, I call it the life experience. There's a lot of semantics in numerology, so it can be life path, your life goal. I mean, there's all kinds of different things, but I just call it the experience because that's what it is. Your everything in your life, all the people, the place you're born, what you're born into, the family, mainly it's the people interactions. We're having everything set up for ourselves to have a certain experience. And it depends on whatever that number is. And there's only 9 numbers and 0, and everything in life can be delineated down to one of those numbers. And when we there's basic meanings to the numbers, and then after that, there's kind of a spiritual side to the number, and then there's a physical side to the numbers. Numbers have associations with everything, with colors, with music. This is probably the main crux of it. The name is our destiny in life. The Romans said nomen est omen in the Latin. The name is the destiny. And the Egyptians would pick their children's names to live a particular life because they knew that there was power in the word. And that destiny and the life experience, there's a relationship between those two. So sometimes it's more difficult. Sometimes the name is where we look for opportunities in life to work out this experience that we've come to do. And so whatever name we go by the most is going to draw certain opportunities to us. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't work well. This is why when my second wife married me, she didn't want to take my name because B's stimulate emotions in names. The letter, and her first name is Billy, so it had a B, and I have 2 more B's in my last name, so it was too much emotion for her. I didn't know it at the time. so I luckily I didn't care whether she did or not. So professionally, it was better for her to keep her maiden name anyway. But it those levels of understanding, those nuances, are all kind of wrapped up in. Yeah, the name gives us natural gifts and abilities. Our birth date does too, but not as much as our name does. Our name gives us quantities of numbers. A lot of times, the more numbers we have of a particular number, like a number 1, if we have too much of that number, it can be an annoying trait to other people. and it can make us have a certain way about us. And so those things you can pick those up real quick when you start adding, numbers related to letters. But then you get into alphabets and you get into different types of numerology, because there are different types of numerology. I use Pythagorean numerology for character analysis, because I
right.
especially with relationships and that.
Right.
Seems to be very, very good. But Chaldean numerology now is a little more closely tied to the Vedic astrology.
And Michael, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. You can continue on with that. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You, and special guest Michael Brisbiglia is here tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Numerology talk continues right after this on the mighty SOR. I forgot to forewarn you about the commercial break. That's my bad. Bad host.
No. It's that you have a routine you have to follow. I mean, you got to stay on point.
Absolutely. I do have a number of questions, because I am trying to solve a personal mystery. Maybe you can help. Maybe you can help.
Well,
yes,
quite possible.
That's exciting.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to keep you in suspense through the break, and okay. I'm curious about this. This one totally, it trips me out. I saw it twice today.
Oh, you're seeing numbers?
One specific number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well.
One specific one. Ever since January 17th, 1999.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's amazing.
117. What was it? 117. What was the date?
1999.
1999. Okay. Is that when you were born?
No, that's when my daughter was born. But I'll get into that. I can't give too much away during the break, because our YouTube people are listening in, and we got to keep some secrets from them. Shh.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, hey, Mike, I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome. This is fun.
Well, I tend to think so, and the lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco, bringing you on in, and we love her around here. She's amazing. Don't tell her that though, because next thing you know, she'll turn you into a vegan.
Oh.
I don't think. Michael, are you vegan? I don't think you're vegan.
I'm kind of omnivorous, but a vegan kind of tend towards that more than anything. I'm not too much of a beef person, and pork, but I'll do chicken and fish.
There you go. Okay.
I don't do the fish. The fish just I don't know. I'm a catch and release guy.
Well, well, salmon is probably the only thing that I really eat as far as fish goes. The rest of the stuff is pretty much shellfish, and all that is too much. Yeah. There's too much mercury in it now. It's not healthy.
I'll tell you,
it's bad enough with the salmon.
I was fishing on where I used to live. There's a very large salmon run on there, and literally I had one rule to all my family and friends: do not bug me between September 1st and the heavy rains in November, because if you're looking for me, I will be at the river, and that's that.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I want pictures. I want to see pictures of that.
I helped a gentleman.
Do you fly fish?
I'm a terrible fly fisherman, but we'd fish the rapids, and it was insane. I mean, trying to land a 35-pound king salmon in the rapids is brutal, and it is so much fun.
You got to have a pretty good test line for the.
We were only
using
using about 20-pound test. It was fantastic.
Really?
Oh yeah, That's part of the fun.
Oh, wow.
And but one time we were fishing the canal, and this guy beside me gets a hit, and we were like, okay. And I'd fished beside this guy for years, nice gentleman. And the next thing I know, it comes up, and we landed it. I literally jumped on this king salmon. It was 62 pounds, biggest one I've ever seen with my eyes. 62 pounds.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The biggest I caught out of that river was 47. That was my personal record.
Wow. That's a huge fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One hell of a fight. One hell of a fight.
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah. And then, and then after that, I started, I just went through this spiritual thing where this way before I got into all this, and I just stopped taking fish. Just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And to me,
technically,
there. You know what though? There is nothing more in my eyes, nothing more relaxing than sitting in the cool river with the fish and reviving them.
Oh yeah.
And just saying, hey, give them a little pet and saying and telling them how much you appreciate them and thanking them for the great fight and for the great experience. And now you go do what you need to do, which is create more beautiful salmon. And that's the point I got to. I went totally zen on it, man. Totally zen.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's the joy of fishing. It isn't about I'm gonna fish the river out.
Oh, trust me. There was almost a few brawls like that between my buddies and a few fishermen who took it a little too seriously. But nonetheless,
that's crazy.
It was a good time. All right, guys, we got about 30 seconds.
Okay. I used to go to Kings Canyon and fish in the trout in Kings Canyon in down south, and there's called Goddard Canyon, and the water's so clear you can sit up on the cliff and you can look down into the water and see all the fish just sitting there.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing, yeah. But they're small, they weren't like really, really big, but different kinds, rainbow and brown and stuff like that.
Up here where I live in British Columbia, the rainbows and browns get to around, and the brook trout get to like 25, 28 pounds. It's insane. Hold on one second. Here we go. Music's on.
All right.
We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate all of you taking the time out of your busy schedule to hang out with us. Want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rocking Out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You happens once at the beginning or near the beginning of each month here on Spaced Out Radio. We love having her here. She's from Bay Area Meditation. That is her company down in San Francisco, California, and her website, bayareameditation.com, as well as GeraldineOrozco.com. And we are also joined by Geraldine's good friend, Michael Brisbaglia, who is talking numerology with us tonight. Michael, Geraldine, welcome back to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
I got to ask you, I am trying to solve a little numerology mystery. And look, Michael, I've had a lot of weird and strange things happen in my life. Okay, I believe a lot, but for some reason, I have a real tough time getting into numerology and understanding it and just being a believer in it. I mean, I've seen aliens, I've seen Bigfoot, I've seen ghosts, fairies and gnomes and all this kind of weird stuff that has happened. But numerology, I don't get it. I really, really don't. So I want to ask you this, because since January 17th, 1999, the day my daughter was born, I have been haunted by a number. And I don't understand it. I know it adds to 9, which equates down to 3 if you break it on down. Okay. But my daughter was born at 5 pounds, 13 ounces. And now I see the number 513 everywhere. Does not matter if it's on a clock, if I'm playing a game and I look at a coin count or whatever, it's 513. Heck, even my garbage and recycling bids have the number 513 on them. I am haunted by this number, and I have no idea why.
Well, probably the first reason is because you say that you're haunted by that number. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But regardless of that, your daughter, born on the 17th, that's a very powerful number. That's called the number of immortality. That means over several lifetimes, she has learned through experience. She has to walk the talk, so to speak, and then she gets it. But has great psychic ability too. She could probably do psychic readings.
Oh, she's very talented. She's very talented.
Yeah. Yeah, that's there's definitely that ability is there. Yeah, and can be the counselor too, where she counsels others.
Yes,
very independent though.
Oh yeah, she has no idea. She has no idea, and I'll tell you, I'm not very public about this, but we have an extremely strained relationship, which drives me absolutely haywire. Because we're like two alphas in a wolf pack, and we keep butting heads, even though we don't mean to.
To understand this number that you're seeing, I need to have your birth date.
Oh, I'll give you that to you. May 24th.
Okay.
May 24th, 1973.
It's almost your birthday. It's your birthday month.
It is.
My gosh.
Today actually is my mother's 77th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
I know.
It's so wonderful.
Yes. Mom, we FaceTimed her for about 20 minutes, just chatting away, and she was so happy today.
Aww.
She was surrounded by all her best friends, my dad, and unfortunately, my sisters and myself, we all live out of town from where my parents are, they still live in the town where I grew up. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice, and she got a surprise dinner made for her, and good for her. My mom goes through a lot of health problems, and seeing that beautiful smile on her face today through the entire FaceTime conversation, it was so worth it. So worth it. How
nice. That's awesome. And does she lives by herself or
no? My dad. I got to say this. I think I am extremely, extremely fortunate that at 46, going on 47, that I still have both my parents alive. I'm extremely fortunate, and wow. And I got to tell you, mom and dad, they're married 50 years last year, and they're going strong, and they're having a good time. And, even with all of my mom's health problems and surviving cancer twice, she just continues to tick on, and I love it. She's a fighter.
She is a fighter. That's compelling. That's amazing. Beautiful. Well, now we know where you get it, Dave.
Yes.
You're a fighter too.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, you and Geraldine are kind of on the same level in life.
Oh, really? That's so interesting.
Go figure.
Yeah, you guys are kind of on that. There's an unwritten code between the two of you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But this 513 is kind of interesting because 5 is the number of change. 13 is the number of death and rebirth. Okay.
Ooh, mm-hmm.
Death and regeneration. That is, the 13 is on a higher level, has dominion over everything if the creativity is used constructively. So it's kind of a misunderstood number. But your life is a 13-4. So this 13 is your daughter is bringing, it's reminding you all the time to be patient. That 13 is there to remind you to be patient, and then the 5 brings you opportunities. So the 13 is take your time, build on a solid foundation, and then you'll see the opportunities are there. You just need to ask yourself, if it's one of two ways with the 5, it's a disaster or it's an opportunity. So in the face of whatever's happening that goes askew or crazy, ask yourself, where's my opportunity? And then there's a rebirth into a new way of thinking or a new way of doing things. So that would be my interpretation of you seeing that number all the time, but it's definitely tied to your life experience. Because 13, if you look at the old interpretation of 13 and you subscribe to past lives, it would mean former lifetimes of laziness. So the work can befall you this life. So you may not get the credit for all the hard work you put in, but you're doing the necessary work in life. You have to learn to be happy taking out the garbage.
Oh, how much more bloody garbage is there?
Well, it's understood that you by you building solidly, because if you move too fast, if you try to zip ahead, it's A, B, C, D, if you try to zip ahead to Z, it falls apart and you find yourself starting over again, A, B, C, D. So as long as you build on a solid ground, you'll buy the freedom and things you're looking for later on. You have a 4 life, which means it's a life of practicality. It's what's the most practical thing to do. And that practicality means different things to different people. It has a lot to do with how we're raised and what our belief systems are and all kinds of things. But there's a huge dynamic here with, like I say, with the radio show and broadcasting to the world. That's the 13. That's the 13 on the high level. The ability to change systems, the way people believe things, the way people see things. It's exactly what your show is about.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Does that help answer your question a little bit?
Well, just throws more fuel on the fire of trying to figure out this crazy thing we call life and spaced out radio. But I do appreciate that. I want to get to Devin here. Devin says he sees 444 a lot. Leah says that she sees 333.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Well,
is that
again, we have to.
But I want to. I just want to follow up with that, though, Michael. Is it not the fact that the human mind is trained to recognize patterns like that, though?
Well, it's what do you extrapolate out of the pattern? I mean, what is it saying to you? What's the pattern for? If we recognize the pattern, because we do things, we fall into patterns every day of everything we do. It's just recognizing what that pattern is. You have to be able to stand back and look at what you're doing and why you're doing it. with numerology, it helps you understand, what the dynamics are around it. So you can understand, if things are always falling apart, you're having a hard time, or you're running up against things, or your opinion is too strong about something, because the 4 can be very opinionated life. So, there's all of those dynamics come into play, especially with the interactions of, like you say, when you're seeing certain patterns. But it's a lot of times when we're seeing a number, especially we have the digital clocks now and that, so we can see exact numbers all the time. And so it's what are you thinking about at the time, or what are you doing at the time that you see the number? What are you preparing to go to work? Are you, stressed out, or what is it? Because you have the dynamic of the number multiplied, especially like 444, but it's also the 12, and it's also the 3. So if you were to look at the essence of the 444, it's all about creativity, and it's about communication.
Michael, sorry to interrupt. Can you explain why it's a 12 and why it's a 3, like you said? Or
well, three 4s are 12. 4 is 8, and 4 is 12. So if you add all the numbers together, you have a compound number that comes out of that, and then 2 and 1 is 3. So you boil it down to the essence of the basic frequency of 444 is a 3. Now 12, the 12 in there is called the number of the sacrifice of the plans of others. So Devin probably should be aware of listening to other people too much. And what are their plans for him? Whether it may not be his plans. And what is he saying all the time? What is his self-talk about what he's going through in life or not going through in life? And it's also about creativity. Maybe the 444 is saying, take the time, learn something creative, or be a little more creative. So there's a lot of interpretations here for that 444, but based on what his birth date is. So if we know what Devin's birth date is, then we know what he's here to experience. It ties in with this probably in some way. Or it could be his name also. And there's one number that I didn't talk about, but there's one number that can take precedent over everything in the life, and that is our heart and soul number. Our heart and soul number comes from the addition of the vowels of our name. And that number under times of stress is when the heart comes out. Relationships are good for bringing out stress. and then it's who we are inside, what we really want comes out. And the vowels, the Hebrews believed the vowels to be sacred. They were the names of God. So they used them very sparingly, if at all. They believed that a vowel was the energy that carried a word to another person. So there's a lot of power in our heart. Our heart and soul is kind of the essence of what our soul's evolution has been over many lifetimes. What energy are we bringing in with us? Also, our day of birth gives evidence of that, too.
Beautiful. Now, Michael, earlier I was talking about how you were discussing about the year 2020. Can you speak to us a little bit about the year 2020? What does it mean? How did we end up where we are today?
If you look at it biblically, we're in the judgment times, right? Okay. Well, the number 20, if you look in the Tarot, the Tarot 20th card is the judgment card. So we're in double judgment this year. Now cool. You also have the 2 and the 2, and which makes 4. So this would be considered universally a 4 year for the planet. Okay, when we started numbering the planet's years. So this would be in a 4 year. This is the year of practicality. This is the year of patience. This is the year of honesty and being honest. And so dishonesty, because the 22 is hidden in this 2020, is called a master number in numerology. And all of the double-digit numbers are called master numbers because if people do not know how to utilize the master number energy, it will master your life. That's why they call them master numbers. They're because it's doubled in force. The double twos are two is emotions. So it's double emotions that are hidden within this 2020. And you can feel it. Okay. Now the 22 is a worldly vibration. It's called the master architect. And it's bringing everything together for us to all work together. We have this opportunity. So it's definitely, and getting out of the judgment of things being right or wrong. It's about working together. What are we doing as a people?
Wow, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. That's amazing. Mm-hmm.
Carl has a question in the chat room. We call him Human Carl around here because we got Carl the Alien too, and we don't want people to get confused between Carl the Alien and Human Carl, right?
Of course
is it Carl with a K or Carl with a C?
Carl with a C. And Human Carl is asking, would numerology still work if we only had 8 digits on our hands?
Well, in Carl's world, it would probably be an 8-base system that, the other two numbers wouldn't be, used. So, because in the old astrology, there was only basically 7 planets, and then the moon and the sun. And numbers would double up. So 1s and 4s would actually equate with the sun, and then 2s and 7s were equated with the moon. So maybe numbers if it was only eight fingers or that, there would be that basic energy of that, and maybe to explain other things that were beyond the 8. Maybe there would be an 8 and 1, and an 8 and 1 is together. It means something else, and it would be whatever the description would be of things happening. Would be starting to equate with whatever the number numbers associated with those things are. So you would probably have a whole different mathematical system that you would be living under, which in the vast universe, maybe there's people with only 2 fingers. So, they live in a binary world. And their descriptions of things in that would be an association with what they're with. So it's unlimited possibilities. So I would say to Carl, yeah, it's probably possible on some planet somewhere in some universe.
Very nice. All right.
Got my vote.
We've got about 3 minutes before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Geraldine Orozco, Spiritual You, continues with special guest Michael Brisbaglia. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate that, Michael and Geraldine. I do want to say, because I'm watching the chat rooms here, and there's a lot of numbers flying on through. And Nikki is asking, what are the master numbers?
Master numbers are all the double-digit numbers 11 to 99.
And what's their purpose?
Those are the master numbers. Well, they're doubled in force. Depending on where the master number shows up, it's more intense. Each one kind of has its own uniqueness to it. 11s and 22s we see the most, and maybe up to 44. You don't really see too many beyond that. In names, we can get up to 44, but in birth dates, it's 11s and 22s. If depending on where the number is found is kind of its relationship to what it's affecting. But like 11 is called the master psychic. It's double ones, double ego, double in force. It's super creative, super sensitive, because it's also the 2. It's the 1 and 1 is 2. So you have the master number. It's this constant pressure with master numbers to do more. There's this, but you're not sure what it is, especially if you're born on the 11th, or say your year of birth comes out to 11. The year we're born is how we think. And that's something that you probably won't find in any of the numerology books.
Got you. Geraldine, what's your thoughts as we've got about a minute to go?
Yeah, I mean, that's really important. And what I really want to get into is the connection between numbers and frequency, because we embody, based on the day that we're born, based on our name, based on the time that we were born, a frequency that makes up who we are as a whole, multidimensional, physical and non-physical. So I think it's going to be really important to kind of discuss that. So let's talk about that when we get back, or maybe you can start briefly.
Well, you know what, Michael, just save it, because we only got about 15, 16 seconds left before we have to go to break. And I don't want to get started too much and then have to, cut you off at the pass right when you're getting into something juicy there, because I have a tendency to accidentally have to do that with people sometimes. And I always feel shame. But you guys sit tight. You sit tight, because we are going to go to break here. Michael Birbiglia and Geraldine Orozco joining us for the Spiritual You. Coming up in hour number 3 for the first half, Michael and Geraldine are going to continue to talk numerology. Then we get to the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave on the back end. More Spaced Out Radio coming up right after this. Yeah, this is good fun. I'm going to run my puppies outside. You guys can talk away, just so you know. The YouTube crowd will hear you. But they don't share any secrets. So if you say anything weird or strange that shouldn't get out there, they won't tell anybody. I'll be right back, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, Dave. Michael, do you want to take a little water break or a bathroom break or anything at all?
I've had my water this whole time, so I'm fine.
Fabulous. I'm going to grab a little bit of tea, and I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, everybody, I'm back too. I'm back.
That's good.
Yeah, what the hell? I figure I'll finish off the show strong. You know?
Oh, also, I was talking about your 513 there.
Yeah.
Those are actually that's you. Your daughter, your daughter was showing you the type of person that you are. You're the Taurus Gemini.
Ah, yes.
So you're born in May, so you have the Taurus energy, but you're also over the line, so you're into Gemini.
Yes.
So the 5 is about freedom of the Gemini,
right?
And it's also one of the numbers associated with Gemini. Right. Okay, 5 is Mercury in the elements, and that's what Gemini is.
Okay,
and then Taurus.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then the Taurus is the 4 that likes to be home. Home is very important, and family and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's run around or stay home.
All right.
It's having those two extremes. Yeah.
I have both Moonstone and Leah asking about the number 9. One is a birthday and one's just about the number 9. We got about 1 minute here.
Okay. Well, 9 is humanitarian service. That's what it is. If you had it as an experience, as a day of birth, it's having that ability to show others unconditional love and forgiveness, because it's a number of forgiveness. But the opposite of 9 is revenge. Okay, it's either unconditional love or it's revenge. It has extremes. I don't talk about the negative sides of the numbers too often, but 9 can have those extremes. But 9's extremely creative. It's the higher aspirations of the artist. So artistic expression can be there. Don't worry about it being perfect. 9 has to learn to be the allower in life. Allow them to be who they are.
Excellent. Geraldine, don't forget to turn your microphone on. Just wanted to remind you.
Oh, yeah. I'm here.
Oh, yes. That's what I do. That's what I do. Hold on, guys. We got about 10 seconds, and then I'm going to reintroduce the show and then reintroduce you guys.
Rock with the Moose, the official party.
All right, YouTube. Remember, a great way to support our show. We got the super chat on. You can go to our store and buy some T-shirts and swag like that, or join the Space Travelers Club for $5 a month. Hell, I'm just going to take a thumbs up as well, if you don't mind. Here we go with hour 3.
Back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. What a privilege it is to broadcast to you live each and every night. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across the continent and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. The only thing I ask for in return is hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Hortiform is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. And yeah, we absolutely love all of you. Follow us on Twitter as well, at Spaced Out Radio, and for my personal handle, at Dave Scott SOR. For the final time tonight, we introduce Geraldine Orozco as we continue the Spiritual You, which happens at the beginning of each month on this show, where we get into our Zen and our Chi, and tonight we're getting into a little numerology as well. Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com. Highly suggest you check it on out. And our special guest tonight, numerologist out of San Francisco, Michael Brisbaglia, is your guest tonight. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. What a pleasure this has been.
Thank you so much. It's so great. And I'm so excited to have Michael on with us. And, right before the break, we were talking about vibrational frequency. One of the things that I focus on in my healing work is really connecting with people's vibrational frequency. And with using color, because I believe that vibrational frequency translates to us through vibrational color that we can see. It's light bouncing off an object, and that produces a color that we can actually see. But we can also experience that information that is being transmitted to us vibrationally through our emotions and through the feeling body. And so when we are picking up a healing color for somebody, for example, I identify what is their highest vibrational expression. And this comes up as a certain color that defines basically how to heal the body, mind, and soul of an individual with this color. This color is packed with information that will tell me about their entire body as a product of their chakra system and the information that is in that chakra system and their entire DNA. So what I've noticed and what I've learned by seeing the multidimensional body is that we are vibrational frequency. So one of the questions that I had for Michael, which really drew me to learn more about this numerology concept, was when we're born, he talks about us being defined by the birth date, the birth time, our name, all of that can translate to a number. And so that number creates a vibrational frequency. So, Michael, I wanted to ask, what is the connection between numbers and vibrational frequency?
Well, when Pythagoras taught numerology, he would teach the arithmetic, the numbers. Then he would teach the associations with astrology or astronomy at the time. And he would take all of those numbers and put them to music, because every number has a musical note associated with it, and also associates with the chakras of the body. So he could tell by the sound or what was going to happen, because there's these destructive tones and constructive tones, and so everything is based in frequency of some kind, because the numbers are everything. Everything depends upon those frequencies holding things together, and the interactions between bodies and that. So we're if you're at a high C or a D or an F or whatever the note is, there's if you understand the notes or the colors are also connected with those frequencies too. So whatever this is why you can put a baby to sleep or you can shatter glass. It depends on what you're doing with that frequency. And we evidently have the ability to control frequency because we're of our minds. Our minds are so powerful that we have never really tapped into the power of what we can really do. But yeah, the fact that you can put something back into balance, because if it has gotten out of balance because of being off frequency. In fact, Royal R. Rife, if you've ever heard about a Rife machine, well, yes. He figured out that every disease, organ in the body for a healthy organ had a certain frequency. And then he saw that when the cancer was in there, that it had a certain frequency. And if he could tune his machine to what a healthy organ was, the other organism couldn't live in that frequency because it was out of sync with it. So it would kill off the organism and bring the organ back into healthy existence. So the fact of healing and sound, music is very therapeutic. It's very healing. It puts you into meditative states. I mean, it does all those things. So, as far as our healing should be along those lines, and color also.
And so
does that help explain the frequency connection with numbers?
Yeah, sure. So, and along those lines, talk about the healing frequencies like and please excuse me, I have a really bad memory, but is it 438, Dave, or 586, or what
My
is it,
number?
Michael? The healing frequency, like, we talk about the love, the unconditional love frequency, 438 hertz, so on and so forth. So, can you speak to those?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well,
Is that the same thing or something different?
I actually haven't researched that very much, so I'm not too sure about what there's probably somebody who's got a lot of data on that somewhere, I would think. I'm just not too familiar with that, but I have heard of what you're talking about certain frequencies now I'm not sure where how they're arriving at that. I'm not sure how that, I'm not even sure who's done the most research with that. It would be interesting to find out.
Mm-hmm. How can numbers and numerology help us, Michael?
Well, it can tell us why we bothered to be born. That's the first thing. And once we have that information, then we understand, what if we can take responsibility for ourselves and what we're here to experience, then we can understand how we're setting things up in our life and why we seem to always have the same types of things happen all the time, or the same kind of interactions, or, I find that when we come to experience, we're either born opposite or raised opposite than that, or we have a different set of belief systems. So we seem to be at odds with our own life, simply because we're not understanding that, we have the ability to, it's causing us to look at who we are and what we're doing, so we can live the life we intended to live. I believe that we can also transcend whatever we've come to experience. We can move beyond it once we fully understand what it is and we're doing it. I think we move into another level of living.
Interesting.
So that's and also it helps us understand. Like if we were going to take a trip, we would understand what our personal numbers are. What is our month this month? What is the year going on? It's almost the same lines of astrology, but it's a little more personalized. I have a lot of people tell me that when I'm doing a numerology reading from them, they'll say, well, this sounds just like my astrology. I said, well, yeah, because astrology is based in numbers. They have to calculate all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all tied together. We really all need to have an astrology reading and our numerology reading to understand ourselves personally, and then we can kind of understand how we're going to interact with other people and with relationships and with work and things like that. So also the numerology gives us that kind of guidepost. It helps us understand, when we what types of work and things we're better suited for, or what we can do naturally. Some people have all the numbers. They have all the numbers from 1 to 9. And they're pretty self-sufficient people. But if you can do anything you want to do, then what do you do? So they sometimes have a really hard time with career because they can, I could be this and I could be an attorney and I could do this job and stuff like that. But they end up not doing anything because it takes more to stimulate them. They really have to really sample a lot of things before they kind of settle into something.
Mm-hmm. In one of my regressions, I was taken up into the vast universe, Michael and Dave. And one of the things that I saw is the Fibonacci sequence, which was shown to me as the creation of all this universe, basically. It's almost like an algorithm of creation. So what is the relationship between nature and numbers, in your opinion? Because I feel like for us to understand what is true, what is real, we can look to nature. And I don't know what your thoughts on this are, Michael, because nature is so exact, it's so perfect, it's so beautiful. But when we return to our natural, let's say, quote unquote, blueprint, our body comes back into perfect health, perfect stasis. So what is this balance or this understanding between numbers and nature?
Well, if you look at nature, it's the geometry, it's the patterns, the cycles of nature. The birds go south for the winter and things. It's mannerisms, the seasons. There's different feelings of and the months are numbered. The days, every day of the calendar is numbered. The passage of time. So old and young, and we have all these relationships just through being here. If we saw a starfish, it has five little legs. Well, it's showing us a relationship to that creature, and it's expressing that number in its form. And so, we would, and then we look at ourselves and they say, oh, geez, we have 5 fingers on our hand, so all of a sudden now we have this relationship with the starfish. So there's those connections, those observations of nature showing, it's death and rebirth all the time. It's extreme beauty and extreme violence at the same time, but it's cyclic, and it's always transforming all the time. Nothing ever stays still. It's always under constant change. So it's the words going with the flow. That's basically, because 5 is kind of the number of man a lot of times, because it's the middle number, and it's the first number that breaks free. You get up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get to 5, which is this freedom, which is this exploration, this movement, and opportunities. It's like, what's over there? Let's go venture.
Yeah.
And so there's, but the patterns of nature, I think, is a lot of where numbers were kind of born, the observations of numbers were born out of. You'll see a lot of hexagonal things, like crystals all grow hexagonal, most of them. You'll see the spirals, which the Fibonacci spiral has been in, and it's transformed to art. In the golden mean,
yep, that's right.
Triangles, and all that. So it shows proportion. So that's in the talking about the symmetry of things being, equal on both sides. And so it's what we kind of equate with perfection a lot of times, is that there's the beauty of the flower looks just perfectly symmetrical. And we'll look for that in people. You'll see the most beautiful people are usually very symmetrical faces. They're the same on both sides of their face. So that gives them a sense of perfection that we see that.
I don't know what that's like. Face for radio. I have no idea. You just lost me there, Michael. And it's funny because as you were saying that, I'm just scrolling down, checking some posts on Facebook for the show, and there's a picture of the beautiful Geraldine Orozco with the symmetrical face.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how symmetrical, but I'll take it. Thank you, Dave.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, yes.
Well,
I have no idea how that works. No idea how that works. But, I'm just going to go crawl back into my hole.
Right, Dave?
I'm just going to go crawl back into my hole and hide, But that's what I'm going to do. Hey, guys, we got about 5.5 minutes here tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I have a couple questions from our audience, in regards to numbers. And Nikki was asking about the numbers 235 or 253 or 325 or 532, something about those number patterns right there. What does it mean?
As like 235 or something,
well,
or
the first
532.
Well, she's asking
just having those numbers together.
Yeah,
having those numbers come together.
3, 2, 5. What does 325 mean?
Well, in just being numbers themselves. Well, 3 is about communication, 2 is about emotions, and 5 is about change. So, I mean, if you look at them as just numbers, they're representing that when you look at them, okay? If you're looking at them elemental-wise, 3 is fire, 2 is water, and 5 is air. So air, fire, and water kind of all, the water can drown the fire, the air can fan the flames or whip up the water. So, I mean, there's all kinds of connections here on a lot of different levels, but unless you're applying these to something like this person's life, well, actually, Nikki, N-I-K-I,
K-K-I.
is that how she spells her name?
N-I-K-K-I.
Well, the double K's, K is the 11th letter of the alphabet, so there's a lot of psychic ability in Nikki. She has that natural gift, a lot of creative energy also. But N is the 14th letter of the alphabet, which is a 5. What the 5 in this 325, and if you look at them all added together, comes out to a 1, a 10-1, which is all about new beginnings, and it's all about new starts, for fresh starts. So she's seeing these numbers together. They're trying to tell her it's an opportunity, or it's a time for a new beginning. It's okay to, take a chance, try something new.
I think that's pretty accurate, because I've got psychic readings from Nikki before.
Oh,
wow,
okay.
That's awesome. There you go.
Well, yeah, she has that built into her. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, Michael, why don't you tell us about your readings really quickly, the reading that you do, so that people know where to find you and your website and all that good stuff.
Well, it's Michael Bisbilia's numerology. It's not a very interactive website. It's just an informational type of website. So don't try to click on anything. It probably won't take you anywhere. But on there has, how to get a hold of me and all that kind of stuff. Or you can just email me, is probably the easiest thing to do, is readings with an S, 1111 at yahoo.com or at gmail.com. And I can always get back to them, and then I can send them some information about my readings and all that. I'll send you a little, flyer or so, and it'll give you all the information about, times. And then once I get the person's information, I do their chart. After I have their chart done, I only need to do that once. And once the chart's done, then we can set a time and do the reading.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It was so much fun to have you on here, Michael. I really appreciate all your wisdom and the information that you shared with us. And that was really great. So,
well, thanks for having me.
And Geraldine.
Thanks, Dave.
Oh, thank you, Michael. You were absolutely fantastic, and we really appreciate it. I want to bring you on again. I like you. I want to bring you back on again, and we can talk some serious numbers here coming up in the future.
Okay. Okay.
Let's do that. And Geraldine, let everybody know, as we got just over a minute left, where they can find all of your information. I think you got about 65 websites and one beautiful YouTube channel. So if you want to let everybody know where they can find your information.
Yes, thank you so much. If you want to get a DNA reprogramming with me, please email me, you can email me at info@BayAreaMeditation, or visit my website at GeraldineOrozco.com or BayAreaMeditation.com. And if you are a hybrid parent, if you are an ET experiencer, need to learn more about your experience and want some help, therapy, guidance, information, please check out my website, hybridmother.com. We didn't get to touch that topic tonight, but we will next time. And I'm really happy to be of service to you. So any questions that you have, I am available. Please check out my YouTube channel, subscribe, and share with your friends. I have a lot of awesome free content on there that you guys can check out. And if you have any questions, I am available. So all my love to all of you, and thank you so much once again for tuning in. Thank you so much, Dave.
No problem. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You will be back in June. Yes, because we love Geraldine around here. So we just figured, we'll bring her back. What the hell? We'll bring her back because that's kind of what we do around here. And we love her. Michael, thank you so much for joining us as well.
You're welcome.
Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio coming up as we take this thing home. Great job, guys. Let's give you a little bit of a clap here.
Well,
that was so much fun. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming on. And Dave, thank you again for your amazing hair and amazing self that you are.
Oh, yes.
And I'll see you soon.
Absolutely, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much. And Geraldine, you'll be back on June 2nd. June 2nd.
All right.
Yeah, that's if you're not filming some master movie like you normally are around June.
No, I'm here. I'm all yours. June 2nd. It's on my calendar.
All right.
So I will see you and everybody.
Love you, my dear. You take care, and much love, Michael. Thank you for coming on. I hope you had a good experience.
Oh, it was great. It was a lot of fun. You guys are great.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. You guys take care. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love them. Love them. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. Human Carl, you're pretty active tonight. You're all over the chat room. I can still taste that burger. It's like right in the solar plexus. Little too much aioli, I think. Little too much aioli. Oh my gosh. Can't believe we're into May already. By the way, anybody wondering who our guest is tomorrow night? Dave Schrader from the Holzer Files. That's who we're chatting with. Dave Schrader. Big Bad Dave. It's all Dave's, all Dave, all night. See what I did there? Brilliancy. I got to trim around the mouth. If you love them so much, why don't you marry them? Thank you, Corrance. I've got some pretty good news tonight. No, the diverticulitis is pretty good right now. Pretty good right now. It's calming down. Anthony Liddy wants to join Spaced Out Radio. I'll approve that. Anthony, you are approved. I'd rather have Tim Denise. Don't know who that is. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Look at Science Bob. Chances of Science Bob having his cape on tonight. The odds in Vegas are 72% that he has his cape on tonight. I'm going with the over. You tell me what you're doing. Ugh. Yeah, I got a Pepsi right here, man. I'm down to 1 Pepsi a day. 1 Pepsi a day. I was at like 3. Oh, Tim Dennis on Darkness Radio. I knew I should have put money down on that, Science Bob. I knew I should have. Old Science Bob, what are you doing awake? Haven't you been like working on building some sort of satellite to clean up all the broken satellites? Has one of them 1-800-GOT-JUNK bins tied behind it with a big claw that picks up the old satellites and puts it in the Got Junk trunk? That's what I want to see you build, Science Bob. That would be cool. No, it's just me and Shrades tomorrow. Me and the Shrades. We got like 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Old news? For anybody who doesn't know in the YouTube chat room, Science Bob has his name up in space. There is 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 satellites up there that have Science Bob's name on it. How fucking cool is that? Honestly, how fucking cool is that? And I got a new keyboard. All right, final commercial.
Dashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients.
8 satellites.
Oils and bombs.
Science Bob has his name on 8 satellites in space.
Use promo code SOR 2019.
That is fucking cool.
Beard.com today.
Mm-hmm. All right. A little bit of thunder. Thunder. Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. All right, here we go. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. I want to remind all of you that if you missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rockin' Out to Bumblefoot, and never forget, the Captain Shirk updates the SOR Newswire on a daily basis. Speaking of the news, let's get to it, shall we? It's that time once again where we get into the weird, the wacky, the WTF with Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, where we bring you the news each and every night at the back end of every show. Why? Because everybody puts it at the front. We want to get to the interview at the front, so we shove the news in the back, because this is where we get to change things up, get a little zen with each other. Nearly $1 million in cash was dumped on a Central California road during a police chase that ended with 2 arrests of 2 New York men who apparently planned to buy marijuana with the money. Frank Capraro and Desmond McDay, both of Medford, were arrested Friday evening. It wasn't immediately clear whether they had obtained lawyers. The chase began before 6:30 in the afternoon or the evening when CHP officers tried to stop one of the three black SUVs that appeared to be traveling together on Interstate 5 south of Los Banos. During the chase, one of the SUVs straddled lanes to block the patrol car, which maneuvered around it and kept chasing the first car, a Chevy Suburban. The Suburban stopped on the shoulder of the road at one point, and the driver got out, dumped 2 cardboard boxes, and then took off again before finally stopping for good. The driver of the Suburban and a second SUV that was stopped in traffic were both taken into custody, but the SUV that tried to block the officer escaped. The cardboard boxes contained $915,000 in cash, and a police dog alerted to the odor of drugs on the money. Officers also found walkie-talkies that the drivers apparently had been using to communicate during the chase. A park in Miami Beach has had to be closed just 5 days after it had reopened when lockdown restrictions were lifted after nearly 9,000 people showed up and were found to be violating the park's mask policy. South Point Park on South Beach in Florida opened to the public once again after being closed for 6 weeks in an effort to curb the spread of coronavirus, but conditions were attached to that green space reopening. Yes, they were. Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Jimenez ordered all park goers to wear facial coverings, but the mask policy was mostly ignored by those in South Point Park. In the 5 days the park was open from Wednesday to Sunday, park rangers issued 8,880 verbal warnings, with the majority of the warnings, 5,261 of them, issued over the weekend. At one point, the police decided to close the parking lot in an attempt to control the crowds, but it really made little difference. We have had the city staff in the park to encourage people to comply, but they were met with hostility and non-compliance, said City Manager Jimmy Morales. Yeah, they were not too happy. There is no way to effectively enforce social distancing when hundreds of individuals refuse to do so. The best way to protect our residents and first responders is to keep it closed until further notice. The social distancing is serious, and it is too early to disregard it, Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber said. There is a lot of frustration, but that can't be the organizing principle of what we do. South Point Park is closed. COVIDiots ruined it for everybody, wrote Matthew Blake. Yeah, and this is why we can't have nice things during a pandemic. People want to open beaches? Yeah, right. What will be next? When will this end? Wrote Maria LaPietro. Another user on the group said, first, we were staying home to flatten the curve. We did that. Now, 6 weeks later, we have more laws and no end in sight. Other parks in the Miami area have reopened without problems, but the popular location at the beach may have been the problem worse than what was anticipated. Oh, yeah. Sunny days, warm days, oceans with sharks in them. Yeah, let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach. Here's some good news from Elon Musk. He shared the first pictures of his newborn baby boy with singer Grimes on Twitter. It's the singer's first child, and it's Musk's 6th son. One showed him cradling the baby in his arms while in the hospital, and the other showed his son lying in bed with a tattoo filter applied. Elon, who is 48 years old, had taken the decision to post the image after a fan wrote, "A pic of you holding the baby would break the internet. Please share one." So he did. Child's name so far, according to Musk, XAEA-12 Musk. Now, whether or not that will be the child's actual name, who knows? Who knows? I don't even know how to pronounce that. And Musk also responded to a follower who had liked the tattooed image, writing, "Thanks, never too young to get some ink." The Tesla CEO happily announced the happy news of the baby's arrival via Twitter on Monday evening. Mom and baby, all good. In response to that, he said, "We needed the name and that we literally need it." XAEA-12 Musk. Still don't know how to pronounce that. But the child is a good Canadian kid, born in the U.S. because Musk is Canadian as well, and so is his beautiful partner. And the good part about it is everyone is happy. I don't know why, but this story upset me. Okay? I understand the purpose of it. Okay? I'm not trying to be that grumpy old man with gray hair and a fantastic beard. Okay? But whatever happened to discipline? Now, I'm going to read you a story, and I want to know what you think. And tell me on Twitter, @SpacedOutRadio. The Lamborghini dreams of a 5-year-old Utah boy who stole his parents' SUV so he could drive to California to buy one are now coming true. So on Monday, Adrian Zamaripa took the keys to his parents' SUV after an argument with his mother where she refused to buy him a Lamborghini. Adrian drove for about 2 miles on his way to buy a Lamborghini with a whole $3 in his pocket before being stopped on the Interstate 15 by Utah Highway Patrol. Yes, there's a great dash cam video of this. His family says they are very sorry for the incident and warned other parents not to leave their car keys unattended. Now, Adrian's sister, Sydney Estrada, says she was watching the family's children while their parents were both at work. She says she fell asleep. When she woke up, she realized Adrian may be in danger. She says, I saw that the truck was gone, and he was gone, and the keys were gone. I don't know what went through his mind. This is what pisses me off. Now, just 1 day later, offers for Adrian to sit in and ride in a Lamborghini are pouring in. The family is still deciding what to do with the offers. The Estrada family met up with Jeremy from Orem, who is a Lamborghini owner, so Adrian could get a ride. The family says they've received other Lamborghini-related offers, and emails have been going through all media channels from public relations professionals wanting to get in touch with Adrian regarding Lamborghinis. This 5-year-old kid, who is obviously undisciplined, doesn't listen, argues with his parents. Parents have no discipline. At least that's the way it looks, allegedly. Steals their vehicle, gets in trouble with the police, and is being rewarded for his efforts with Lamborghinis. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why children are growing up entitled. Because if they don't get their way, they do something by throwing a tantrum, and then they get their way. I'm 46 years old, coming up 47. I've never ridden in a Lamborghini. I've never ridden in a Porsche or a Ferrari. Okay? I would love to. Maserati once. I would love to drive a Lamborghini. And yet here we are, giving in to this child's tantrum. This is what is wrong with society. I'm not telling anybody how to parent. Okay? But this is where some discipline would kick in. Discipline. This child needs discipline, not a contract from commercials and companies regarding Lamborghinis. This kid's going to probably get his education paid for, and good for him, because that's the way society is now. And I don't think I'm too old school to say it's BS. It is absolutely BS. The child needs discipline, not a Lamborghini ride. We're all worse off for that. Remember that. We are all worse off for that type of parenting. Here's a screwy story out of the Lethbridge, Alberta. Police arrested a woman dressed as a stormtrooper on Monday, May 4th, unofficially known as Star Wars Day, after receiving multiple complaints of a firearm. You got to be kidding me. The Cocoa Vanilla Galactic Cantina employee was dressed up as part of a Star Wars Day promotion that went quickly awry. Cafe owner Bradley Whalen says that the female employee arrived at the cafe at 10 a.m. and went out in full costume about 20 minutes later. At about 11:20 a.m., 3 police cruisers arrived and pointed guns at her. They instructed the employee to put the plastic gun on the ground, which she immediately did. After the employee complied, the Lethbridge police pushed the individual to the ground and put her in handcuffs. According to the media, the employee had a bloody nose as a result of being pushed to the ground. She can also be heard crying out in the video as officers handcuffed her. She kept yelling at them that she couldn't kneel down because in that stormtrooper costume, you can't even sit down in it. Like it's impossible to sit down. She kept telling them that she couldn't get down is what she explained to me after we talked to her. It wasn't a matter of her not wanting to cooperate. Now, Lethbridge Police Service Inspector Jason Walper said that the incident was a misunderstanding. Anytime our officers are responding to something that is very spontaneous, where there's a weapon involved, our first responsibility is to ensure we can create a safe environment for the officers, for the public, and the individuals itself. So certainly their first response is to deal with the weapon and remove the weapon from the person, take that person into custody, and then allow us to follow up with that investigation to determine exactly what occurred. Facing mounting backlash, Lethbridge police are now launching a service investigation into the actions of the officers on the scene. Upon reviewing the file and additional information, including video circulating on social media, Chief Scott Woods has directed a service investigation under the Alberta Police Act that will look into whether the officers acted appropriately. The statement says, acted appropriately. It's May the 4th. Where is your cop sense of humor? You're in Lethbridge, Alberta. The only thing exciting that happens in Lethbridge, Alberta is when it is wheat growing season. That is it. Wheat growing season and hockey season, because the Hurricanes are in the WHL and that's good hockey. Okay? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Police will apparently provide an update to the public once again in the investigation once it's complete. According to the police statement, the employee suffered a minor injury. You broke her nose. It was bleeding, you moron. I hope she sues. I'm not a big guy for suing, but this is so blatant of overexertion of force that the force was not with the stormtrooper. No, it was with the police. Thought of the Knave happens every night at this time, where we take a question, put it on Facebook and Twitter each and every day, and then we get you to answer it because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. What do you look forward to doing again once the lockdown is over? Taco Bell for me, man. Taco Bell. For all of you who have Taco Bell in your lives, you are lucky right now. Very lucky. I'm going to Taco Bell. That's what I'm doing. Marty in Vegas. Take my wife to a really nice restaurant for a great prime rib dinner. Oh, that sounds lovely, Marty. Sounds absolutely lovely. Prime rib's a good thing. Joey Bandanas. I'm going to hike up to 12,000 feet to an abandoned gold mine where 2 miners died and spend the night there. Science Bob, who, by the way, did admit he is wearing his cape tonight while listening to the show. He says, I'm going to go visit friends, including you, Dave Scott. Yes, the door is open. I'm prepping the fire pit so that way we can roast hot dogs and stare up in the stars to look for UFOs. I got it all planned, Science Bob. All planned. Shanna Banana, where was she in the chat room? She was missing tonight. I'm going to need to get totally weird and ridiculously silly with my SOR family. In Vegas, baby. Oh, hell yes. Yes. We were talking the other night on our YouTube chat after the show. We're thinking April 2021. We should all come together and have a big Vegas spaced out radio party. We're thinking about it. Kyle says, I'm drinking at a bar with some friends. Ross, my cycle trail and bakery of nice pies. You better go pig out on those nice pies. Ronnie on Twitter, I'm getting out in the woods with my camera and no one else. Lovely. Lovely. All right, Michael, I'm getting a haircut. Oh, let it grow, Michael. Let it grow. Seize the day. Matthew, I'm going to go browsing Home Depot and go smell the lumber section. You know what? That is a great smell. That is a fantastic smell. Melinda Leslie, who's down in Sedona, Arizona. She has a great UFO tour. She says she can't wait to get back out to do her UFO sighting tours and meet with new clients. Julie, I'm sitting down in a restaurant to eat. Oh, I want to do that. Like Taco Bell. Alex, give the finger to anyone that endlessly posted every day about how this was some secret war and everything was going to change and the bad guys were going to take away all of your freedoms and we were all going to live in a Nazi communist land where science would be forced upon you. But fortunately, Q came to the rescue with white hats and the good guys saved us all by arresting all of Hollywood, especially Oprah, who apparently was arrested every day, thus saving America. There's some snark in there. I don't know, but I think there's some snark in there. Heidi, I want to go to my sister's house, have a barbecue that ends up being a big tequila drinking competition, and then sit in her hot tub till 4 a.m. UFO hunting. I always see UFOs after tequila drinking competitions. I bet you do, Heidi. Joanne, seeing my hubby, daughters, grandkids, and the rest of the family. William Pullen, immediately hitting the road to Roswell to spend a few weeks working, studying, and researching inside the hallowed halls of the International UFO Museum and Research Center. Kevin and Kevin's Beard, Texas is open as of today. Nice to sit at a restaurant and eat. Must be nice. Gabe wants to eat 7-Eleven chili dogs and actually eating Taco Bell. Lana, I want to spend some time with you guys, Dave. Okay. Shauna, my friends and family, I love visiting my sister and niece. We have a right laugh, crazy that we laugh our butts off together. Steve, my band playing in the club. The Ukrainian Watermelon, Little Ronnie Moniak. I will be glad not making any more coffee with toilet water, and I will be so happy to remove my toothbrush shank from its secret hiding spot in my body. Oh my. Olav wants to go to the Tiki Bar. Tim, back to the bar for some dancing. Need more description than that? Oh, no. Carrie, oh, she goes, we are not in lockdown. Yes, we are. Anyways, Kelly, a long motorcycle ride to the Shenandoah Mountain Range. Final word tonight. Oh, let's pick one here. Oh, let's go with Joe. I plan on taking a road trip down to Mexico and taking on a bar full of vampires. Your hair will protect you, Joe. Your hair will protect you. Thank you to everybody playing in the Thought of the Day. We will do it all again tomorrow on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks, Captain Shirk, for the news on the SOR Newswire on our website. And to Geraldine Orozco and Michael Brisbaglia for coming on in for the Spiritual You. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Thanks to everybody participating in our chat rooms tonight on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the SOR Space Travelers Club on our website, and all the Snarkers and Snarkettes on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. Take the time to check out our website. Peruse around. That way you know when you can join us on the Woo Train. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Have a good one. Good night. Hey, 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 hey. That's a good show, people. That's a very solid show tonight. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's end that. My lovely lady lumps. All right, what do we got here? Thank you, Fabster. Thank you so much for the super chats, too, my friend. I really, really do appreciate that. Very unexpected. And thank you. I really appreciate that. To Kyle, too. Fantastic. Fantastic. Hey, I got to do this thing here. Hold on. Oh, fuck off, malware bites. I'm gonna do this and dashboard, and we need to open that up. Watch you for so long, wait for you to fall. We'll expose you all. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. Yeah. Apparently all of you are watching me because I can't see any of you. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Let's see here. You can. Tomorrow night, David Schrader, Eva, hi Yuli, and Yeenie. I'm a soft J kind of guy. Not many people can admit to being a soft J kind of guy, but I can admit it. I'm a soft J kind of guy. I'm that guy. I am so a soft J kind of guy. You want to see me? Of course I do. I can't see you. Your eyes are blacked out in your photo. Where is Mr. Whalen? He's not here again today. Oh, well. Oh, well. You don't want to see me. I'm stuffing my face with cashew milk ice cream. My favorite ice cream is still bubblegum. Bubblegum and strawberry. Oh, fantastic combination. Fantastic. Hey, I don't have to wear these. Cool. Oh, I'm naked in my cape. Nice, Science Bob. Nice. We're going to need a beard update tomorrow, Science Bob. Need a serious beard update. Schrader on tomorrow night there, Derek. It's true. The rumors are true. Schrader tomorrow. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. La 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 la. Oh no, bubblegum ice cream is good stuff, man. Uh-huh. 0505 Geraldine Orozco. And then we'll build another file over here for 0505 KZAX. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hair is getting really long. It really is. I like it though. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Bark at the moon, fuck yeah. Do do do. Bark at the fucking moon. Not even an Aussie guy. Do 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 do. I mean, I like Ozzy. I'd like to see him in concert. I don't think I'll ever get the opportunity to see him live. But it is what it is. Oh, Grandma Rose is going to love the hair. Grandma Rose is going to love the hair. Love me some Grandma Rose, man. Do 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 do. No, my hair, my hair's looking good. Yeah, I do have rock star hair. I'm not gonna lie. I may have very few things go. I got a lot of stuff going on in my life, but one of the ones I'm proud of was that I've actually been able to keep my hair this long without going nuts. Normally, I'm like that short. Like maybe that short. Do 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 do. Give me 1 second here. Cool. Kill. Getting there. Hey Dave, email me your stuff. Dude, I did email you my picture of my bio. You need to check your mail, Sherry. You need to check your mail. I sent that like a week ago when I said I was going to. In fact, I think I sent it during the show. If you didn't get it, I can resend it to you. Everything's also on my bio at spacedoutradio.com. How do I sleep comfortably with my long hair? I pull it back really tight, and then I take one of these large elastic bands, and I wrap it around 3 times. So then you end up with hair in your face like this in the middle of the night, and sometimes you end up with hair that is like totally like this, and like you got the pillow here and all this hair blocking your mouth here, and you can't breathe, and you're wondering why the hell you can't breathe. It's all because of the hair. It's because this thing gave out. No problem, Nikki. No problem. So I did that voiceover work tonight before the show. Did that voiceover work. Yep. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Took me like 5 takes before I finally gave the guy what he wanted. 5 takes. Oh, why is that playing? Get over there, you jerk. That's what we need right there. Did I save that? No, I haven't even saved that yet. On number 4. Okay, 0505. Shit, cancel. Hit the wrong button. 0505 SOR 4. You're not allowed to braid my hair then, Moonstone. Yeah, I was we're DOT. What the hell is that being DOT? We're gonna have to rename that. What the fuck did that? Resave. How the hell did I get SOR? Oh, I hit the wrong button. There we go. Get rid of the old DOT for. What the fuck is that? Yeah, it's like 1 minute. It's like you had to go deep. Hold on. I'll try and do the voice. You have to go deep. Almost like a whisper. Deep whisper. And then inflect on words like Department of Transportation. Just like that. Yeah. He's picky, but he's the one making the film. What can I do? What can I do? Who am I? Who am I? I'm just the yes sir guy. So we're going to go like this. Me too, man. Dave, how come you can curse, but we can't? I never said you couldn't. Go ahead. Swear in the chat room. Fuck yeah. Good night, Julie. Yuli. Pardon me, soft J. Yuli. What was this? 0505 SOR 5. Poop. Poop is just much more fun than to say shit. Poo or poop? I don't know why. It just is. Hey, Alan Young, you're a little late. What kind of food were you making, man? That story about the kid in the Lamborghini really pissed me off. Really pissed me off. If that was my son, he'd be in a whole lot of grounding. I can tell you that. It's not about the parents having to do a better job about hiding the keys from a 5-year-old. That's, you know what? The minute I read that in this story, I was like, the parents are taking the blame on themselves for their kid doing this. No, you should be taking the blame on yourself for the kid doing it, because you didn't discipline the little shit better enough. I don't know. Not my kid, not my war, not my anything, so I don't know what the hell I'm getting all worked up for. Can't control it, don't know who they are. But if that kid ends up with a Lamborghini deal, everybody should be pissed off. Not like Lamborghini would care, because, I mean, they are the ones who are going to be probably paying for something. But I don't know. That kid looks like he could eat a couple cheeseburgers from McDonald's in one quick sitting. Dropbox, the shittiest dropping society place ever. Poop. Well, he was slouched down and the vehicle was swerving. And he was slouched down so he could touch the pedals. That's why the vehicle wasn't going that fast. But either way, this is where the whole term, and I know there might be people out there who think, yeah, no, you know what? I'm not going to say it because there's some triggered people when it comes to that stuff. But, you know, that kid needs some discipline. Go stand in a corner for a long time. You know what I'm saying? If that would have happened to me, I would have got my ass handed to me. Leather strap. Leather strap right there across my hiney. Leather strap across my hiney. All right, let's see what our verification code number is tonight, people. 963-454. 963-454. That's where we're going. Oh, yeah, Nikki, mine too. Moonstone, you agree? Oh, yeah. What's 163? What is that, Corrance? Guaranteed that little fat kid gets himself gets an agent and gets on some Lamborghini commercial or local Lamborghini dealership commercial. And he will get spoiled with like a Lamborghini. You know how they do the Lamborghini parades and the hot car parades and all that? Guaranteed he gets to ride in a Lamborghini in one of those. And bet you Lamborghini sends him like a supply box of like shirts and toys and jackets. This kid is going to be rewarded heavily for being a shithead. It's like that Cash Me Outside girl. Remember her from a number of years ago? $513. You know what we need? I'll be philosophical here for a second. That's the type of kid that needs sports. Okay. And I realize right now with everything going on, we can't have sports. But you know what? I remember when I was a kid, my parents always had me in sports. My parents loved me enough not to put me in soccer. But there was always sports. Everything was sports. Now I realized that, sports cost money, travel, time, and there's not a lot of time today. But that's the type of kid who needs sports. I look at my son. My son is a good boy, but like every typical boy, he can get rambunctious and overly edgy. Okay? He doesn't throw temper tantrums. My boy's not that way. He's very inquisitive, but he's not a temper tantrum kind of kid. Some of his friends are. But I'll tell you this. I watch my son when he gets off the ice or when he's done a bunch of running around outside playing or gets any type of sporty type activity. And my boy is phenomenal. He's tired. He sleeps better at night. He's less grumpy. He is happier. All right. He eats better. Everything. All because of sports. And I don't know where over the years we lost the passion. Look, I know everybody's not going to like sports, okay? There are people out there who just say, look, sports aren't for me. But you know what? They may not be for you, but they may be for your kid. All right? And a child doesn't know whether or not they like a sport or not, or what have you. They don't know. Just tell them to go out there and have some fun. Whether it's football, baseball, hockey, right? Oh, you're right, Corrins. PC crowd has taken over the sports too. Oh, you should see the pamphlet that Hockey Canada sends to parents. You know what? There's a reason why Canadians aren't being drafted as much in the NHL anymore. It's because we become too politically correct. We want everybody to have fun. Fuck fun. Sports isn't supposed to be fun. The fun of sports is learning how to compete, learning the discipline, and all the education you learn from it. And music is the same way. Yet we expect it from music, yet we don't take it in sports anymore. Right? I equate music and learning music a lot to sports. Put the child in karate or something like that. Something where there's discipline. That's what the child needs. I don't get it, but it is what it is. Once again, who am I? Who am I? It's terrible. Terrible. What? Absolutely. No, I didn't have a bad experience with soccer. My parents just loved me, and they didn't want me. They didn't want me going down that road. Soccer leads to hooliganism. Look at Europe. No, but you think about it. When kids learn something, they feel like they've won. When a child feels like they've won, okay, they're better for it. They're even better for it if they lose. And in today's society, remember when we were all kids and going to have sports day in the summer? You just wanted to win a ribbon. You didn't care if it was first, second, third, or fourth. It sucked when you didn't win a ribbon. There was always those kids, they'd have 8, 9 ribbons because they're the fastest or the strongest or whatever. And then there would be some with no ribbons, right? You have to learn to compete. And they've taken the compete out of everything. Right? I mean, you can't even beat the shit out of a bully anymore without getting in trouble. So, I'll be right back, guys. I got to hit the bathroom. Bear with me. What's up? Here's my kitty. This is my kitty. This is the guy we found in the forest. Usually he's not allowed in the studio, but him and I are becoming buddies. Oh, yeah. You like that? You're just waiting for me to go to bed. Normally, I'm not a cat guy, but this guy's totally got me hooked. What, you want to go down? Huh? You want to go down? You're not sure. You're not used to being in here, are you? You're not. His name is Tigger. I call him Puss. Yeah, he's a good cat. Got a big fluffy tail. I don't know if you could. I don't think you could see it. It's kind of tucked in right now. You want to go down? Okay. He's not used to being in here. Normally he's not allowed. He's gonna like jump around up here somewhere. He'll be back. Where are you, Tiggs? That's the kitty. Where are you? Come on. Where'd you go? Where are you? Oh, you're sitting on the floor over there. Okay. He's tired. He's waiting for me. Him and I, he's decided that he's got to sleep beside me in bed now. Yeah, he's very black. He's got some beautiful gray in him, too. No, he's not chewing cables. That's why he's normally not allowed in here, because there's a lot of cables in here. But I like him. I'm so not a cat guy. And he's totally turned me into a cat guy. I'm his human. For sure. I like him. I like him. Cat condo, that would be kind of cool. What's the matter, kitty? What's the matter? Hold on, kitty wants something. What's the matter? You're just sprawled out, I know. Just a few more minutes and then we'll go to bed. He started in my my area downstairs, which we could call the toy room. He started laying down there waiting for me. until after the show. What? You're going to talk? Meow. Come here. Come on. He's so not used to being in here. He's got a real quiet purr, too. Like, you have to listen carefully for his purring. I know. What are you being so talkative for right now? Mew. 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 He wants to be a fan. He's a fan of the radio show. I don't blame him. I know. You just don't know what to do in here, do you? You don't know what to do. I know. It's almost time, buddy. Oh, he wants out. He just kind of bonked the door. Now he's scratching. I'll be right back. You want out? Yeah? You want out? Okay, I'll take you out. Then I'll meet you upstairs in a bit. So that's me, kitty. Oh. Not yet. I think he just wanted to go. He'll probably meet me upstairs in my bed. It's normally what he does. So, where are we here? All right. Well, I have to, speaking of bed, I have to be up early because of the old daytime job now. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Dave Schrader tomorrow on the show. And we'll have a lot of fun and we'll make it happen. And we'll go from there. So appreciate y'all tuning on in. Thank you to Fapster and Kyle for the incredible super chats tonight. You guys made my night. And you guys have yourself a wonderful night. We'll do it all again tomorrow. And by the way, give Corrence a big round of applause. He's doing a hell of a job with our booking as well. So good job, Corey. Keep up the fantastic work. You're a fantastic teammate for us, man. Really do appreciate all of you. And thank you so much. We'll